Alliance. Go!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's round 3. Yeah, you know me. To the Retro Raid Race Part 3 and the epic WoW battles of history. It was merely a setback. I am Koltrane.
And I'm Anna, and thanks everyone for coming out this afternoon to watch the exciting finale as we see the Horde and the Alliance battle out to see who will be the victor in the Retro Raid Race.
Yeah, this is it. This is the finale. It all comes down to this moment. Horde versus Alliance, leading both teams, 2 huge members of the WoW community. Who are these people, Anna? Who the heck is Bay and Brutall?
I don't know. Let me check my notes. I'm gonna have to. No, these guys are great. Everybody has seen them bunches of times. Bay, my co-host at FinalBoss, streamer, Brutall, wonderful YouTuber, representing the Horde, sadly, with Bay representing the Alliance.
Wow, Ryan, you ready to go?
Yes.
Oh
Bay and Brutall, here we are. This is the finale. This is round 3. How are you guys feeling? What's going on? Brutall, start with you.
You know, just like 2 weeks ago, a little nervous, but I'm actually considerably calmer this time around. I think over the past 2 weeks, I've matured enough. I've gained enough wisdom to realize, you know what? Even if we lose, which I don't think we will, but even if we do, it's been so much fun hanging out with you 3, and of course, everyone watching on Twitch and YouTube. I have every ounce of confidence that the Horde will crush the Alliance today for the Horde. But ultimately, the Alliance do win. They've been a great competition, or it's been a great competition against them. And I'm ready, man. I'm relaxed, a little nervous, but I'm ready.
You all set inside, Ryan? Ready to go?
Oh, sorry. No, I was talking. 1 second.
Bay, how are you feeling, buddy? Hopefully Bay has a shorter answer than Brutall, so we can get this thing going. But Bay, how are you feeling heading into round 3?
The Alliance is still a little bit behind right now, so I think we fine-tuned our stratagems right now to really get the race a lot closer. I kind of derped on round 1. Round 2, as you guys have noticed if you haven't seen it yet, we crushed the Horde all but 1 raid. So hopefully we can crush them all tonight and get a really photo finish.
All right, here we go.
Excellent.
Are both teams ready?
Stand by, Jack Navage.
We're all zoned in, Ryan. You good?
Both teams look ready. I see some all caps in the raid notes here.
Oh my gosh, it is on like Donkey Kong. Our team's ready. We're doing ready checks, both sides. They got their Warlock portals up, so they're ready to transport in front of that trash. First one up, Molten Core. Sorry, Molten Core. I said core. You may have heard something different.
Right.
But let's just check these ready checks here.
I'm good,
Then we'll
Ryan.
get
Let's
going.
hope everyone goes the right way this time.
Yeah, amen to that. I think we're good. One moment.
Molten Core, located beyond Blackrock Depths in the deepest part of Blackrock Mountain. It is the home of Ragnaros the Fire Lord, one of the 4 elemental lieutenants of the Old Gods.
Okay, I'm good, Ryan. Good?
Same here, buddy.
It's very impressive, Koltrane.
Right.
I think of it only as home of trash that drops me transmog gear.
Yes.
We will pull in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah.
And they are off. Look at those Warlock portals go.
Woo! Round 3.
Whose screen to double click on next?
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Both teams looking to use those gliders, little engineer, to glide over that lava. Dropping down, heading right, making their way through Molten Core. Molten Core. Heading off to the first boss, I believe, is Lucifron, unless they're changing it up. Now, as far as bosses go, we're looking at Lucifron, Magmadar, Gehennis, Gar, Shazra, Baron Geddon, Golmag the Incinerator, Sulfurin Harbinger, Major Domo Exodus, and of course, Ragnaros.
And we probably aren't going to see all of those bosses. In fact, we definitely won't. We'll maybe see 2 or 3 if you can catch them before they've died. And that's because these guys have split off into bunches of little groups so that they can get everything dead and regroup at Ragnaros to finish the race off as soon as possible.
Mortimer Matterden in chat room says, Alliance buttocks should be blue from kicking.
Wow.
Oh.
There it is. Not 100% sure what that means.
Blue from being kicked or blue from kicking? I
Right.
don't get it. You're going to have to explain it.
Phrasing?
I don't know about that.
Not 100%
Phrasing.
sure on that one, but it sounds good. I don't know if that's for or against the Alliance, but I dig it regardless. I dig it. All right, here we go.
Lots of lava in here.
Looks
Little
like
bit
a
of lava.
Horde setting up here on Rags.
Oh yeah, there they
Getting
go.
the whole
but
raid
they
team
do
together
need-
now. They do, right. Go on. Anna, now, what's the deal? Can just like 3-4 people challenge the final bot? What's the deal here?
No, they actually have to regroup entirely at the final boss of each race before they can down him. Otherwise, it doesn't count. I believe that it is 24 out of 25 that they need. I'm trying to figure out what the precise number is.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, I think they need
24 out of 25.
24 out of 25 with like a one-person sort of a
Window
just
for
a
DCs.
little, yeah, just a little bit of a
I
window.
think we actually have a DC. I have a Paladin still in the zone, and we should have 24 of the people with us, though, for the record.
There we
All
go.
right.
But I
See
do
a
think we have a
summon
DC.
loading up on one screen and a raid forming up on the other screen.
Boy, back in the day, so I actually raided in Classic WoW. We're calling it Classic, not Vanilla, but in Classic WoW, and this was an 8-hour raid. Back in the day when this was progression, this was an 8-hour raid that took forever.
My
But then again, like
gosh.
mechanics were also very simple back then. Mechanics are much more complex nowadays. And that goes to the argument that raiders, are they getting better? Have we gotten better over the years getting used to these mechanics? I think the
We've
answer
just
to that is
gotten
yes.
older and more experienced.
Yes,
Every single new boss that I joke, but it's true. Every single new boss that comes out, it's like, oh, I've seen this mechanic in XYZ places before. There are very few new things, I think, in raiding, but back at this time, pretty much everything was new. So
All right, looks like Alliance seems to be summoning Ragnaros. He's already popped up. He's doing his thing.
there he goes.
About to start up this long RP. And
Looks like
then
you're
on the
gonna
Horde
finish a few
side,
seconds ahead of us again, babe.
yes, it looks like
I think
Alliance
so.
might be pulling ahead here just slightly. This is good. This is going to close
He has
that
to
gap.
talk so much.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, he's got to have some moments where he's actually alive. He's putting off the inevitable.
In the classic days, when Ragnaros came out of the lava like he does, it was the most epic thing you could ever imagine in the olden days. That was incredible when he rose out. And nowadays, well, he's dead.
And dead.
Not so much. Not quite
Very
as
nicely done, Alliance.
epic. Woohoo!
Well done. So,
think you're
Koltrane,
gonna
I have
gain
to ask, where in
20 seconds this
Dalaran
time.
are you?
I am in a super secret location in a neutral
Neutral
location
location?
in
All right.
Dalaran.
Making
I
sure
may
that
be-
you didn't like sneak into the Horde side or the Alliance side here,
No,
considering your luck with representing the teams on previous days.
That's right. No, I'm staying completely neutral in this occasion because you're right. One week I was like ready. I was in the Horde area. The other week I was in the Alliance area, and we saw what happened. It actually affected the results. So this
For
time,
you guys who weren't here, Koltrane was representing the Alliance week 1, and the Horde dominated. And then he was representing the Horde week 2, sitting in Thunder Bluff, and the Alliance ended up dominating that one. So he decided he is the bad luck charm.
yeah.
Little bit.
No
little
one
bit.
wants Koltrane anywhere near them.
No one wants me on their faction, so I'm going neutral. That's
He's
the
been
deal.
exiled to a neutral location.
That's right. That's right. All right,
And
let's
yeah,
see here.
I know, we've been told that Dalaran isn't a neutral location, but look, we can believe that
It's
is.
somewhat neutral. It is
Somewhat
for
neutral.
today.
It's close to neutral.
All right, looks like times are coming in for both Alliance and Horde. The Alliance timer, we're looking at 3 minutes, 43 seconds. And Anna, what was Horde's?
Horde timer, 4 minutes and 5 seconds. So a
double your
22-second difference between them. Actually, they are fairly close together. Those 22 seconds really do count. There's a discrepancy of what, about 3:20 when we started this out?
That's right.
Yeah, so those 20 seconds are closing the gap. And with a raid like Molten Core, the whole thing's going to go so fast that every single second counts. There really is not going to be a lot of time between the times, so they just have to go as fast as they can, and things like summoning efficiency and paths that they take are going to make more of a difference than the length of time it takes to get every boss down.
That's absolutely right. And you know, with Molten Core, you know, like I said back when it was in Classic WoW, if you guys think that the mage rotation is simple now, back then you spammed one button and that was Frostbolt, and that was it. That's all you
Back in
did.
the day,
Everything
back
was
in the day.
very, very simplified back then. All the classes, there was nowhere near this amount of depth and all this stuff with the classes. It's crazy. So Bay, you are victorious in the first round. What's going on? How you feeling?
I want to attribute that to how many engineers apparently totally did. I didn't plan for engineers, but like there were so many people way ahead of me. So that works, I guess. I didn't like plan for engineers to do the glider stuff, but I forgot that you can like glide all the way to Gar, basically. That's pretty ridiculous.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Brutall, what's going on, buddy? You're down 22 seconds.
That's true. That's true. It's okay. It's okay. You know, we have quite a few more raids ahead of us here. I had a feeling that Babe would win Molten Core again, considering he won 2 weeks ago before his internet issues, and he certainly did. He came back and he actually doubled his time. 2 weeks ago, he beat me by 11 seconds. This week, by 22.
That's right.
So can't argue with success, man. Can't.
That's right. We even said, like, are you sure you want to start over? You know, what if the times change?
Oh.
Just saying.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
All right, now we're stepping into Serpent Shrine Cavern here.
Back into Serpent Shrine Cavern, this time with less DCs.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Less externally caused DCs.
Serpent Shrine Cavern, this is home to, it's the final wing of the Kolfang Reservoir. This is actually where Lady Vash, she has made her watery lair. This is where she kind of hangs out, kicks back. Good old Serpent Shrine.
Remember, don't...
This is
Oh, go ahead,
25. No, it's fine. 25-man raid instance with 6 bosses. This is where you can get your tier 5 stuff, at least your leg, helm, and glove tokens, all drop from this instance. And how many bosses do we have here, Anna?
A lot. Hold on a sec.
No problem.
This is I'm sorry, I'm getting out my tainted core macro here.
Sorry, Anna. It's corrupted core. I thought you're.
I'm pretty sure it's tainted core.
It is tainted core. In fact, there's a raid
core.
team. There's a raid
My
team
goodness.
on Airy Peak called Tainted Core, and it's based off. In fact, why don't you explain what this, Anna? What is this Tainted Core thing? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, all I know about it is that it is an item that you had to toss to another target, but I don't remember why exactly you had to toss it, and didn't it freeze you in place?
Yes, so the cores were dropped by corrupted water elementals, and they would die at the bottom of the stairs surrounding Vosh, and when you grabbed the item, you rooted in place. So you had to throw it up someone on top of the stairs. They were then rooted. Then you got to throw it at someone next to one of the 4 little, like, lanterns. If you corrupted the lantern with the tainted core, it broke her shield. Once all 4 of the barriers were down, you can then actually attack Vosh again.
So you basically had to play catch.
Yes, with
4 separate times.
4 separate
It
times.
was fun.
Yes.
To bring her down. Very nice.
It was good. It was good times. It was.
It was actually the bane of most raid teams. People hated this mechanic, from what I recall. The Tainted Core. So much so that, like I said, there is a raid team actually called Tainted Core.
It may also be the reason why we've never seen the mechanic again. So
Yeah,
there's
probably.
that.
Probably. Well, I mean, we kind of saw this. Actually, this mechanic is very similar to what we saw on Heroic Shafir. But in that case, instead of it being an item that you had to throw to somebody, it was actually an extra action button, which is probably a way better execution of that idea. Because I remember because you did get rooted in place, right? And then all of the ads went to you, and you had to throw it to someone else.
Had to set it to free-for-all loot, so that way, you know, if it's assigned loot, we didn't have to have one person running across the platform. So it was interesting.
We had elevator death.
Oh no!
Hardest boss in the instance, definitely the elevator. Oh, the shame. Who was it?
Poor Firelord Kitty Flake bit the dust and fell through the
poor
elevator.
Kitty Flake.
There it is, Kitty Flake! Elevator boss death. Getting a quick request while we wait here for a fortune cookie.
Right.
Fortune cookies say, a Pandaren who cooks in the dark must use a shadow pad.
I think you already said that one.
Did I already use that
I'm
one?
pretty sure we heard that one
Oh
about
my
3
God.
weeks ago.
It's a classic.
It's still good. It's great
It's a
the second
classic.
time around, though. Somebody in chat has to back me up on this. I do remember hearing that one.
All right, here's a different
Sorry,
one.
calling you out.
A Pandaren who cooks in the dark must use a shadow pad. How's that? Is that a new one there for you? Is that new? No? Did I just... Oh, I just read that.
Sorry, I'm distracted by all of the all caps in the raid announcements here on one of these screens.
I know, right? Brutall going crazy on his raid team right now. Yelling, screaming, full of anger, hate, so much hate.
Also support and drive. So Brutall, did all of your people go in the correct direction this time around?
They did, yes, they did. I don't think we had any issues with people going the wrong way.
No,
running too
2
slowly.
deaths!
2 deaths!
No!
Oh! My gosh!
Alliance spoiling their lead in deaths here. Didn't they begin with less? No, they
Yeah.
have more. Oh, poor Alliance.
He DC'd
All right, here-
on the elevator and then fell through it, apparently.
A likely story.
Here is a different fortune cookie, but still involving the Shadow Pan.
Damn it.
Here we go. Ready?
Spoiling the joke before it begins.
Yes. Here we go.
Spoiler alert. There's a shadow
Fortune
pan.
cookies say, members of the Shadow Pan spend their free time at the Taran Zoo. Huh? 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 Right? Taran Zoo!
Oh, get out.
The
Get out.
NPC! Right? Alright. I got plenty. I got like 8 pages of these. Alright.
These are
This is gonna
awesome.
be bad.
It's going to
All
be
right.
excellent.
How are we doing here? What do we got here? So on the Horde side, Brutall, are you set to go?
I think I'm just making sure everything's drilled into everybody's head. Bay, how you looking?
0 bongos.
0 bongos. Ah, Colt!
Zero
What's going on?
bongos.
What? I see
What was that?
puns of damage. -1 out of 10 bongo. What are you talking about? That was brilliant.
That takes a bongo off of your next score.
Oh,
it has
that's
actually
crazy.
damaged his enjoyment of your next pun.
Unbelievable.
That's horrible.
Look, man, it's puns of fun with me, all right? It's puns of fun. That's all it's going to be, all day. All right, and now, Bay, what's going on with you? You had 2 deaths. Have you recovered?
Can't res him, so he has to run. He has to float back in. Apparently, his body is like somewhere we can't get to, so he's
Right.
not getting back in.
Okay, gotcha. Anna, who is our first boss here in Serpentine?
Oh, it's just a bunch of trash. No, we have Hydros the Unstable, Lurker Below, Leothorus the Blind, Fathom Lord Catharus, the Tidewalker, and Lady Vaj, of course, at the very end.
Ooh. Now, Lurker Below.
He is the one you have to fish up, right?
Yes, you literally have to fish. You have to fish him up. Now, is there a chance? Now, Brutall, you were doing this when this was progression, and I believe Bay, I'm not sure if you were, but I know Brutall
Same.
for a fact you were. Okay, same. So both of you guys. Was there like how many casts, or was it instant?
Back in the day, you could fish him in 3 casts or 300 casts.
Yeah, it was completely completely
no.
random. It normally didn't take us
random.
more than 10 or 20, but there were
Did
some
you just
nights
like
to where it
set
was just
everybody to fish?
yes,
Correct, yes.
It's just fish, get ready for the pole, fish.
Now, back then though, I remember you had to equip a fishing pole.
Correct.
That's true. That's true.
So, and I know that you can't really switch weapons once combat starts, right?
Weapons you can switch. You can't
Right,
switch
weapons
armor.
you can.
Okay, gotcha,
Trinkets
gotcha.
and armor
Okay.
and whatnot.
So basically, I guarantee, were any of your raiders still have the fishing pole
Oh yes,
equipped?
Of course.
absolutely, absolutely.
Of course.
That's just the way that.
Excellent.
You know, this is how it happened. All right,
Guys,
everyone's
I-
ready on my side, Bay.
I don't know what happened to my deeps. I don't know what's
One
going
AFK
on.
Warlock. Okay, we are all set. They're at
Okay,
top
okay.
of the. We're at the same spot, right, judges?
Yes, they are on the same exact spot. The only difference is Brutall is above Lady Vash's corpse. But other than that, you're in the same spot. You're good.
Okay. Good to go. You ready to go, Ryan?
You know it.
All right, let's go in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! Serpent
And
strike!
they are off. Look at that, cutting the corner with those Warlock portals.
Woohoo!
Be sure no one on either side clicks the bridge. The bridge is supposed to be clicked by Ryan or myself only.
Oh, better make sure y'all's raiders know that.
Should.
Truth. I did communicate that for the record. I'll communicate it again now.
Excellent, excellent.
Now, Anna, why would they need to click that bridge? What happens with the bridge?
You're putting me on the spot here. I think doesn't it load up the last boss? Doesn't it load Lady Vash?
Yes, it does.
Okay. That would be why everybody has to be there, and only the leader of the race can actually click it.
I'm actually really impressed. If that was just on the spot, like you pulled that out of thin air, you did great. I'm impressed.
I should really pretend that I've done all of these raids so that I can be like a superior caster to this. But no, my in-depth knowledge begins mostly in Wrath. Sorry, guys.
Bae, give me some memories when you were raiding this place. Progression. Give me some
People
memories
getting
here.
spit across the entire room from Lurker to below because they didn't go in the water. It's a good memory. The trash before Leotheris the Blind was awful.
Why was it awful?
There was like an hour of it.
Holy cow.
Yeah, there's
my
tons
goodness.
of trash before Leo, and I guess the Murlocs in a raid are kind of terrifying. I guess you could say that.
And I know
Absolutely.
somebody in chat brings up something I would have liked/hated to have seen. Someone always forgot to change their weapon off the fishing rod with the lurker below
Right,
and attack the boss with the fishing rod. Would love that. Sushi Man
That's what we
1970.
went over, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Brutal
Now, it does
communicating
look
his
like
raiders. Do not touch Vosh.
Now it does look like they have all split up into different groups again, and it looks as though one of the raids is regrouping, it seems. Bae is on his own in his raid. Fishing
Both
rods
teams
are good
looking
for
good, huh?
casting. Get out of here, Rentios. Get out.
All right, Brutal's commanding everyone to Vosh. Alliance, Holland Bootay. We're gonna see who gets to her first. Now, Lady Vosh, the Tainted Core was part of the Vosh mechanic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one
So
of
I'm
those
assuming-
things where everybody made a macro for it too.
Right. So I'm assuming they can probably ignore that mechanic as level 90s. Okay, here we go.
Brutal giving a raid warning that includes the words "for the love of God" in all caps.
Yeah.
Making sure his people pay attention. Let's hope nobody screws up that one. Nobody wants to see that raid leader rage.
Bae throwing out some commands for some summons.
I remember we had Searing Totems lure him to a position so that I could pick him up properly after his Blade Storm. Wow.
My goodness gracious. All right, here we go. Brutal saying, wait, wait, wait. Telling everybody to get to the top of the stairs.
Stairs.
All right, here we go.
And
Here we go.
so they go.
Boom, down
I
goes
don't
Vash.
know. Looking like the Horde has taken this one.
Wow, by
Very
a pretty
well
significant
done.
lead here.
Yeah, Alliance just loading the bridge up right now. Congratulations, Brutal.
Wow, Horde!
Sorry, spoiler alert, babe. Brutal's done.
Brutal
Yeah, right,
is done.
right. Did you guys see
Holy
him? You
cow.
guys saw him make the bridge too?
Yeah, the bridge was caught on my camera. I was the one that clicked it and everything.
That is correct. Brutal telling his raiders, we kicked their butts, baby.
And washed out.
That's excellent. And
Nicely
Vosh is down
done.
for the Alliance.
Grats, Alliance. Grats, Alliance. Doesn't look like you guys have lost too much time there. I suppose we'll wait for the end results here.
Holy cow.
okay, we're
Brutal,
going.
what's going on, man? You guys dominated Serpent Shrine.
Well, hey, just because we won one battle doesn't mean we've won the war, you know? We I
about
had
that.
I had a pretty good idea as to what I wanted to do with Vosh, and thankfully, well, with SSC, not just Vosh, thankfully it paid off. Had a little bit of trouble with spawning Lurker because of combat. I knew that was going to take place, so I made sure I sent at least 5 or 6 people down there to get her up as quickly as possible. And my rogues did a good job, and everything was good, thankfully.
Yeah, everyone went the right direction. Elevator deaths all predated the start of the raid zone.
Yes. Loktar Ogar for the Horde on that one in Serpent Shrine. Bae, what's going on, man? How you feeling? What's going on?
Nothing. I don't know. I'm just curious how Ryan had all the bosses dead faster, because like we had people that ran all the way to Fathom Lord and he was already on the bridge. So I don't know who got there faster. That's weird. It's crazy. It's crazy pants. Quick.
Sounds like a
Well,
little bit of frustration.
we can always observe fortunately, all of these things are caught on video, so we can know exactly what happened afterwards.
Well, right, exactly. I mean, I'm not there's no foul play. Obviously, everything was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But
Just curious how someone got there faster. Perhaps more engineers, perhaps more rocket boots, just like you
Right.
said, that you didn't know you had so many engineers in your raid.
right.
Right.
Well, I said that for different bosses exactly. So we'll see. Now we have the
Bay.
long flight to Tempest Keep.
That's right. Bay currently yelling conspiracy. Yelling, screaming,
I'm just so mad right now.
furious with conspiracy here.
Right.
All right, we've got a time locked in here for the Horde. Still waiting on the Alliance, but things are looking good. By the way, huge shout out to OpenRaid.org.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. They do so much work, and they have done so much work to help us set this up and judge all of the races and track all of the times and basically just behind the scenes making absolutely everything function right. So these guys are awesome. Go to OpenRaid for all of your group needs. Have loved that website ever since I first saw it start up. It's a great place.
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
And this
I
is
remember
great.
back when LFR first started going, and I thought to myself, you know, I have to do LFR for all this gear, but I couldn't do it on the night that my raid always did. We always did LFR on Tuesdays, and I hate raiding on Tuesdays, so I couldn't do it on Tuesday nights. So I planned an LFR on Saturdays and wanted to get 24 people to do it with me so it'd be easy. And that's when I first started using OpenRaid, was about a year ago, to schedule it. And I just remember that website was so awesome when I found that for just scheduling purposes. It was really cool.
Absolutely. Gosh, here we are in the Burning Crusade. Oh my gosh. Burning Crusade, some people consider one of the best expansions in WoW's history. I wonder why that is. Bay, why do you think people say Burning Crusade was the bomb? Like, why that was the expansion?
I think it will be the first expansion of World of Warcraft that really fixed a lot of the raiding issues, and I think that there was enough that was built in there for like the people that say it's the best expansion are the ones that really enjoyed the attunement process, the chain running, the heroic dungeons, which were really the hardest we've ever seen before in the game. And I think the raids after vanilla were the first ones we actually got really good fond memories of that really had a lot of different mechanics and things, because arguably classic WoW had no mechanics.
Yeah.
Brutal, you
BC
agree?
was a nice time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was the first expansion, I mean, we had flying mounts, we had 25-man raids, which fixed the big issue with Naxx to where, what, you know, 1% or so of the population ever got to see Naxx until Tier 7 came around. So, yeah, I mean, the Burning Crusade was a great, great thing for World of Warcraft, and we saw, you know, the millions of additional people that started playing WoW during that time period, let alone when Wrath hit, and it peaked at 12-ish million. So, yeah, good times, good times.
That's
Definitely
true.
the expansion that I regret. I don't regret missing vanilla, but I do regret missing BC.
Interesting point. Yeah, you're right. Numbers did skyrocket with BC and then even more with Wrath. So, yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And I think, too, I wonder, too, if it's a nostalgia thing. It was the very first expansion. The first time we stepped into Hellfire and you walk in there and there's the big battle going on outside the portal. And then you got the big guy stomping around. What was his name? The big robot?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, the Fell Reaver, right?
Fell Reaver, right.
Was he the
right.
Fell Reaver? I don't know.
That's right. I think it was Fell Reaver.
I think the Fell Reaver is like a generic term for a bunch of big, huge things like that, but yeah.
A lot of
No, his
positive
name
memories
was-
coming to Burning Crusade.
I think his name was Fell Reaver though. Like he had like a specific one.
Yeah,
'Cause then there
this
was-
NPC can be found in Hellfire Peninsula. Yeah, that's him. He's the big guy.
Because then there was the one. There's one in this dungeon, of course, the Void Reaver.
Right.
So
Also nicknamed Loot Reaver.
Loot Reaver, exactly.
Yes, because it's very easy in the mechanics.
Something
it's just
not-
free loot.
Something not every player might know is that these are actually spaceships. Just by the way, the Tempest Keep is actually a spaceship, even though it does not look like one, but it is completely a spaceship.
Oh, I don't know. It kind of does look like one.
Not in the way it's sitting. It's like a giant like. The other ones do. Those are little spaceships, they're little boats in space, but this is still a spaceship. Big
Oh, okay,
old
I see what
spaceship.
you mean. It definitely looks like a piece of like magic modern technology, but I suppose you're right that it wouldn't be very clear as a spaceship.
It's like a floating city, sort of.
Yeah,
See,
saying
and one of
it's-
the reasons why I regret missing BC, it's not just like all the raid mechanics and stuff that everyone talks about, but I think the look of it, it still may visually be my favorite expansion just to go wander around. I love how all of the raid instances look. I mean, I even don't mind Black Temple, and everyone says that one's ugly. Karazhan's beautiful. All of the Blood Elf places are totally beautiful. And that's why I'm hoping that we're going to get a whole lot of that in Warlord, because I think that they're going for that feel of old school Draenor. So I
Some
think it would
people
be nice.
might be familiar also with Tempest Keep here, the Eye. This is where Ashes of Alar drops.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
A lot of people want that mount. Babe, Brutal, do either one of you have that mount?
Nope, and don't care about it either.
Don't really care.
Oh, so
All
he
right.
says. He says
Firm
that
answer.
until it drops.
Right. Now, that sounded like frustration. That sounds like from someone that has been trying to farm this mount forever and never gotten it. Is that true?
Who, me or Bay?
You, Brutal.
I've never tried to farm it. I've killed KT, you know, in the past few years a few times just for fun and whatnot. But no, I've never actually tried to farm ashes.
Bay, yourself? No?
Nope, I've never actually gone and farmed this. Now, there's a couple of stipulations on some of these old raids. That's why we said, like, the bridge in the last dungeon had to be treated like the boss. You'd have your raid there before you can click it, right? The 24+ rule. Same thing happens with this. Ryan and I agreed on that you can go clear Kael'thas's room, but you cannot obviously pull him until, again, raid boss rule.
Yep.
And the same thing will happen when we go to Nax, secondly, which we can send people into Sapphiron's room, but Ryan and I should be the one that spawn him via the raid boss rule, so... Because these raids were changed that you can just go to the last boss. You can just go into SSC right now and just click on the bridge and go kill Vosh and leave. Same thing with Tempest Keep here, and same thing with Nex Ramus. So we had to set some final boss rules on those just so we don't just cheese into the final boss. Exactly. Just protect
Indeed,
ourselves.
we have to make sure that every single boss is killed. And then, for those of you who didn't see the previous weeks of the race, in the later expansions when we get into instances with heroic mode, all heroic modes must be done. So yes, later tonight you will see rag legs.
Yes. Here, Tempest Keep's former Naru Fortress in the Netherstorm and Outland. This crystalline fortress is now ruled by Kael'thas Sunstrider, the Lord of the Blood Elves, and he's dominated by scores of his brethren. This structure is actually divided into 3 wings in the sky, satellites of the gigantic structure, with the 4th wing, the Exodar, now in the world of Azeroth as the Draenei capital.
Right.
So the Exodar used to be a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
We are all
And this
set,
is
right?
tier 5.
I think we are good, my friend.
Yeah, we're good. Sir, we will pull in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's on, like Donkey Kong.
There they go. Now, I am assuming we are going to see both of our raids split up into groups because you can. This instance is kind of in a sort of a bit of a circle type of design. So you can go off and kill other bosses in a different order. So I'm sure that we'll see them split up. We'll see how many people go where and how quickly they can get through everything. Regroup, come back, and kill Kael'thas.
That's right, and this is where they split. This is the big room. You can see the various teams splitting off.
Yep, and now I believe there are only 4 bosses in here.
Correct.
That is correct? Yes, okay, that's
Yes.
what I thought.
Yeah,
there are only 4, there are 3, and then Kael'thas.
Void Reaver, Alar, that's a big giant bird flying around, High Astromancer, Solarian, and then of course, Kael'thas Sunstrider.
Yes, doing this place with the locked level 70s was actually quite interesting. It was fun. I did enjoy doing all of that. It was kind of the fake old school rating. Would not ever claim to have gotten the real experience, but it was still enjoyable.
Svensson CTR in the chat room says, I hope the Ashes of Alar drops. That would be amazing to see.
That would
Absolutely
be kind of amazing. I wonder if our guys would also not care if that was actually a thing.
I think everyone would roll need, no matter what. Even if they were to command everyone pass on it, you know someone's going to roll need on Ashes. I mean, come on.
I mean, even if I say I don't really farm those kinds of things very much, but I still think it's a pretty attractive mount. It's just not worth the time farming for me. I would roll need if it dropped. I would go for a chance for it.
Brutal throwing out some instructions for his rogues in Group 5 to start running to KT. This is nice, man. He's doing a little direction while he's on the run. Heading to the final boss. Bay's looking strong.
He is making sure everybody has the right spec, glyphs, macro, and gear.
That's actually my typical
trinkets.
raid.
I was thinking
message.
exactly that because I wasn't sure if you actually cared that people had the right gear on for the retro raid. Well, you know, every bit of DPS counts, man. Every bit of DPS counts.
Both teams very, very close here on time. Both here in the big room, starting up the
in
RP.
Kael'thas's room. Yes, we've got the zillions of little trash mobs.
Horde engaging the trash right now. Again, they're allowed to engage the trash, but not Kel'Thlas till everybody's together, or at least the rules.
Looks like we had a mind control death.
Lol.
We
Your
had a
own
mind
raid
control
turning
death.
against you.
There are mind controlling mobs in this, yes.
LOL.
Bay, how does that work? What's with the mind control here?
There's an ad like Astromancer something or others in each in the Solarian room that will mind control if you do not kill him ASAP. So yeah, that is a thing that totally is mind control deaths. And then if people see a red mob and they click on it and they kill it and it's your friend. Whoops.
Oh no, please, when you see a different colored health bar, you're like, let's load up the big spells.
Yeah.
Get that chaos
Let's
bolt
get that
going.
chaos bolt going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
It's like an ogre.
I love the
when you
mind
get
control in Siege,
Yeah,
which you
from the banker.
which you used to be able to kill that person under the mind control quite easily, and I was told it wouldn't be fixed, and then sadly they had to fix it because there was too much LFR griefing apparently. But you can still kill that person if you deal more than I think it's 20% of their health in a single blow.
Oh
So
my
it's
God,
like
the
load up the
RP.
Chaos Bolt, come on! I think only a Chaos Bolt can do that. There are only a couple of spells in the game that I think can do that with health pools the way they are right now. I know Chaos Bolt can do it.
This RP is real. Oh my
I know,
God.
man.
Yeah,
It's
this
like 2.5
is a
minutes. It's
thing.
ridiculous.
Oh, this is amazing.
We're just waiting.
There.
Just waiting.
They are both on the RP. It's actually impossible to tell who's ahead because the RP
Yeah,
is
we have
so
no idea.
long.
I'll let you know when mine spawn and vice versa if you could, please. I don't know who initiated
I am
first.
60 seconds from the third phase.
Oh, you
I
have
don't
the
have- I
final
don't
boss
have-
timers loaded. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
the DBM
Yeah.
timers loaded.
Yeah, I don't have the DBM. I don't have DBM right now. I have big wigs.
You have to actually load the old school expansion. The timers for the old school expansions aren't included in the main
That's
mod.
Right. You're right.
Correct.
I forgot.
Yeah,
You're right.
there was a raid warning that actually went up on your screen that reminded me of that, but you might have been looking at something else. It was just you have to actually load up the old. He split the timers for the old instances off into different modules.
A lot of RP here, the main bad guy here, talking a lot of trash. What he doesn't realize, he's about to become trash.
Oh, he already is trash.
That's a setback.
Poor Kael'thas.
All right, we're getting a res on our advisors, and they are up.
Oh, so you are a little bit ahead of me then.
Horde slightly ahead. Also, we do
We'll
have the
see.
times for round 2. We'll review times for round 2 once they finish this boss as well.
I think this race is probably going to be decided in the end. Not in the first couple of instances, but in the last few.
Nax and Firelands particularly. I'll admit, and I told Bay this before the stream, I'm nervous about Firelands. I would hate to play a little bit too cautiously and lose a couple of minutes, than to and or play too, what's the word I'm looking for? Be a little bit too gung ho, I guess.
Too
And then-
aggressive.
yeah, too aggressive, and then have a raid wipe or something.
A raid
That's-
wipe in Fireland, it would never be forgotten.
It would be epic.
It would never be forgotten.
Terrible.
All right, here, Walrus asking the score.
Yeah,
we'll give you
there
the
we
score in one
go.
moment. Boom, down.
Congratulations, Horde.
You can't be too far behind, honestly.
It's 7 seconds of RP.
Oh yeah, well we did actually get the times up from the last zone, so I'll start with Serpentstrine Caverns, which I don't believe we told everyone because there was a note. There was a note in the spreadsheet here that they were verifying. Well, it looks like the Alliance time is an estimate, so it does need to be verified. There might have been some timing inconsistencies there, but the Alliance time on Serpentstrine Caverns is estimated at 4 minutes 15 seconds. And Koltrane, what about the Horde? How fast were they?
3 minutes, 36 seconds for a difference of 39 seconds. Now,
this
again,
could,
this is
could
estimated.
change afterwards, because they are going to have to go back and relook. There might have been a forgetting to push a timer or something, but it looks like right now the Horde is making back a little bit of their lead in the
There's
last
a note
two.
here that says Bay is cheating again. Not sure what that means.
Okay.
It's a little kind of ellipses here, but we'll
Yeah,
verify
there's
that later with the VOD.
There's another note here in light gray, and it says, please mail beer to this address for
Yeah.
prior to times being redone.
Gotcha. Excellent, excellent. All right, good. So, okay, now let's go over the times here in Tempest Keep. Now, by the way, both teams, Bay Brutall, did Ashes of Alar drop?
No,
Nope.
no, they didn't.
Oh,
I didn't even
sadness.
look. Didn't even look, to be honest with you.
Did you get any of the
my.
pets? I guess nobody cares about those pets anymore.
No. I've gotten 2 pets out of BWL recently. I got Crominius and then the little Broodlord got 2.
I don't
Both
think
are
they're
adorable.
supposed to be very hard to farm. I think
I
you're
guess.
supposed to have
That's-
all of the pets by being in there. I think they've got like at least a 20% drop rate. Like you're supposed to only have to go back a couple of times to get them.
Not bad, not bad. Now let's check the times. Holy cow, oh man, this is close. This is close
Oh,
here
yeah.
for Tempest Keep. Okay, so for the Alliance, 6 minutes, 8 seconds. Anna, give me some Horde.
Horde, 5 minutes and 52 seconds for a
so
total
close.
of 16 seconds difference, which is consistent with what we were seeing on the stream. You guys were almost near each other in
Yeah,
that
that was
RP.
close.
That RP was
Oh.
rough.
Well,
Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah, it
short
was.
instance, though. You basically, basically it's just how long it takes for all of your people to get to the end, you know?
Absolutely.
Nax is going to be a little bit more complicated because there are so many wings that they are, I'm sure, going to split off into teams to clear everything out. And then the question is, how long will it take each team to regroup at staff?
It's funny, it is a retro raid race. And the Alliance, they pulled ahead in that first round because they had, a lot of those guys had the Goblin Glider, the Engineer. They could glide right over the lava, which got them to the bosses faster. So they could start it up.
Looks like we have someone saved to 11 of 15, so give us just a minute, Bay.
Okay. We're just
And by a
flying
minute,
over.
I mean
Someone
this could take a
saved.
while.
We're just flying over Dragonblight.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
except I agree, Daniel. The Little Bad Wolf is extremely hard to farm. When I said about the pets being pretty easy to farm in there because they have a pretty high drop rate, the problem with farming the pet out of Kara is that the Opera encounter varies week to week. I think you get 1 of 3 encounters, and the Little Bad Wolf only drops off the Red Riding Hood one. So not only do you have to get Red Riding Hood, you also then have to get the pet drop. And the very first time I went into Kara, like kind of absent-mindedly looking for pets, looking for a bit of transmog gear, we got the Red Riding Hood encounter, and the Big Bad Wolf pet, the Little Bad Wolf pet dropped, and the person who was with me was so mad because he had been farming for it for weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good pet too. The Little Bad Wolf was a pet. Well, he was a really good pet a year or 2 ago, right when pets were first stuck into these old raid zones, so he was pretty desirable to get.
So just to recap again, Ryan and I can both split if we choose to send people into Sephiroth's lair. However, the spawning of Sephiroth needs to be done by Ryan and myself, and it should be adhering to the final boss rule. So 20, 24, 23 plus, barring DCs. Yep.
We have somebody volunteering to be a sub if you have completely lost somebody, Brutal.
I think we're okay. Stand by, please.
Okay.
Getting a request for another fortune cookie. So we must honor that terrible request. So our apologies.
Hold on a sec, let me mute my mumble. Where's my butt?
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
Fortune cookie say, a Pandaren favorite burger is a quarter panda with cheese.
Oh, that's
Huh?
not even a pun.
Yes! Yes!
That's awesome.
Oh, Orentios, I need a score on that one.
Yes! Oh, the
my
glory!
goodness.
Just let it wash over you. Yes!
Hold up, let me think about that one for a moment. No funnier. Oh.
I'm seeing 9 out of 10. Ooh, chat room not too happy.
9 out of 10 is a pretty good score.
Well, that's not
9
bad,
more than I
actually.
would have given it.
That's very true. That's very true. 11 out of 10. All right, here
11
we
out
go.
of 10, it's got a good Orentios score
Now
there.
it's
Wow.
coming in. Now it's coming in. Yes. It starts here and then it comes around and then it
So
hits you
bad.
again. Yes.
So bad it wraps around.
It does. Yes. It hits you the second time.
Bay, I'm gonna need
Oh,
a
it's
little
so
bit
good.
additional time for setup here, buddy, just so you know.
Okay, that's fine. Just so you know,
Quarter panda with cheese.
for the spread where you're sending your route, you can start before each of the quarters as long as you're not actually in a wing.
Okay.
So this is interesting. So this is Nax Ramus. Now, good old Nax. Now this is, we're heading into Lich King. So I think this was the first raid in Wrath of the Lich King. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It was
Yes,
this.
it is.
Wrath of the Lich King was
Or
this,
it was.
and Eye of Eternity.
I have
That's the
eternity.
start
Now,
of it.
here's what's great about Nax. So we said this earlier that when Nax first came out, and was this in this was in Classic WoW or Burning Crusade? Which one was it? when Nax first came out.
Old school Nax was a classic instance, right?
Yes, I think it was classic, but it was super rare. Like you had to be like crazy geared and like really hardcore, and like a very small percentage of players ever saw Nax. And it's a great raid zone. It's like some people think it's just one of the best. It's like fantastic, various wings and all that stuff, but so few people ever got to see it. So Blizzard decided to bring it back. It's literally the exact same raid instance, the same graphics, the same artwork, the same everything as the original, but brought back here in Wrath of the Lich King.
And yeah, with a slightly easier tuning at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think Nax is one of the instances that is remembered very fondly by people when we look back and remember Wrath of the Lich King. There are instances, I would say that probably every other instance, including Trial of the Crusader, I enjoyed more than Nax. So.
I don't know though, but Nax brings back like, this is safety dance. Right?
It's true, and it is very epic, and it's long, and there are wings, and I love raids that are long and have wings that you can like pick which wing you're going to go to. So that's I do like that kind of visual design of the raid. It did feel a little bit more epic.
It did, and for a lot of people too, like Wrath, we saw a huge spike in numbers in Wrath of the Lich King. So for a lot of players, Nax was their very first raid. This was a lot.
And that is valuable.
Yeah, this was a huge raid and brought back a lot of great memories. And like you said, I love the setup of it. There's 4 wings. So you can choose which wing you want to do. If you're having trouble on a certain boss or certain mechanics or whatever, choose a different wing and try that boss out. You know, get some gear and then go back to that old boss. So it did offer a lot of different choices here for both. Now, also too, this was when they had 10-man raids. This 10 and 25-man raids was in Nax. And let's see here, the
first
4
time
wings,
I think that we saw both of those, because Kara was a 10-man raid, but there were no raids that were both 10 and 25 until this time.
As far as the wings go, there's the Arachnid Quarter, the Plague Quarter, Military Quarter, and the Construct Quarter. And then, of course, at the very end, the Frostworm Lair. Now, you can only access the Frostworm Lair, which contains Sapphiron and, of course, Kel'Thuzad, after you've defeated the other 4 wings. Now, you were raiding at this time, Anna. What do you have any memories, anything that you liked about Nax from back in the day?
Well, I say that I was raiding at this time, but to be perfectly honest, sorry, I should probably fake like I'm a super expert in all of these zones. My very first raid was Ulduar, but it was right at the launch of Ulduar, so of course we did go back and do Nax. So I suppose my impression of Nax is very twisted by the fact that I did Ulduar and then we also did Nax, because at the time that I was in there, you need to do them both together, all the gear, especially for me since I was new.
Right.
So it was even easier than it was for those who did it at launch. But I didn't like play the launch of Wrath of the Lich King and then go into Nax in like blue dungeon gear and have that experience. And that's like one of my favorite parts of all of the time that I've played WoW, has been that very first raid experience when you level, and then you gear up in the dungeons, and then you go into your very first raid of the expansion. That's the experience that I'm kind of missing in Nax, because I didn't do that part. But I heard from everyone who talked to me, and chat was saying this as well, it didn't seem very difficult. I don't think that a lot of people really enjoyed it, and you get a lot of people who say like tier 11, tier 14 were just ridiculously fun for them. And that's not something I really hear people say about Nax very frequently.
Yeah, now, Bay, I mean, you were raiding when Nax, this was progression for you guys. You guys are pretty hardcore. Do you agree with that sentiment? Was Nax a little bit easier? Was it hard? What was it like as a progression raider?
At the time, at the start of this expansion, I was in a guild called Impervious, who was like US, oh my god, between 12th and 16th by the end of the previous expansion, somewhere in there. And the expansion launched on a Tuesday, as most expansions do, except Warlords Relic on a Thursday, whatever. By the Sunday after launch, all raid content was dead.
Wow. Jeez. No kidding.
No kidding. I have the Magic Secret title to prove the server first Malagos. That's why I always wear usually, because it's just so rare. But yes, we had everything dead. We were killing... Malagos was pretty tough because of the eye level skilling of the dragon vehicle fight. We were in like greens and blues. So... yeah, like everything was dead though. There was no problem with the entire, and we basically had to then wait for the next raid tier to come out months and months and months later, even though we killed all of the content within 4 days of launch.
Wow.
That's
So a
just
little
harsh.
easy. Little easy.
Yeah, nobody wants that. And I know that when we look at the speed that content stays up these days, it really doesn't stay up that often for the top guilds, because if you have people who are basically raiding 24/7, like pro raiders, you're not going to make a raid instance that is going to give them more than 2 or 3 weeks of trouble, I think. But in terms of the people who, like the first 50 or 100 guilds to kill stuff, if those people are all downing stuff in a week or two, you are not giving your audience a lot of content to do. You know, that's what really matters to me. That's crazy. My God, Brutall is just giving a novel to his raid team here.
He
Hold
really
up.
A little
is.
bit of novel.
Hold up, we need to break for half an hour while his people consult his instructions.
Oh, what's happening? Are you okay, Ryan? What's going on?
I mean,
Well-
we're not
I'm
going to repeat
driving
any of them to you, but
I'm
yeah.
driving it into their head. Do not spawn Saffron. Do
Oh,
not
yeah. I
spawn
spawned
Saffron.
That's worth it. That's
Do
worth
not
driving into
spawn
people's
him.
heads.
Now, a couple of quick things too. This place is famous for a couple of things. One of them is patchwork. People always refer to patchwork style fights. Patchwork, patchwork, patchwork. Oh, this is like a patchwork fight. Or like when you look at Simcraft or various things, like on a patchwork style fight. And this is where patchwork lives. This is where that whole thing started. For this fight, he is a guy that literally stands in one spot, and all you do is just DPS this guy and just kill him before he kills you. That is
he
where
has
this phrase
one
patchwork.
mechanic. He has one mechanic that actually matters, and if you were a tank, you actually dealt with it because he did the what was it called, like vicious strike
Hateful
or something?
strike.
Hateful strike. That was the name of it, and it's actually a term that people use to describe this kind of mechanic. A hateful strike. It's the damage done by the boss to somebody who's like second or third on the threat meter, but not the top guy on the threat meter. And I think he did it to the second and third. I don't remember how many people he hateful striked, but I believe it was second and third. And so you actually wanted to put the more geared tank lower on the threat meter, which is not so good if the guy who you have tanking the boss is less good at doing threat. So I was always sitting there like taking the hateful strikes and trying very hard not to pull the boss off the guy who was tanking. So.
Right, and it was an interesting thing too that you didn't want to have a DPS.
You did not want to have a DPS with getting that hateful strike. So you
Right.
hoped that all of your tanks didn't suck. And if
Right.
your tanks sucked and the DPS were, and that could be a very frustrating feeling for a DPS who's just trying to do their job, DPS as hard as they could, kill the boss as fast as they can, and you have to hold off because your tank cannot stay above you on Omen. That's the kind of feeling that the
What's
devs
your
are trying to
status, Ryan?
avoid.
Almost ready. Give me like 60 to 90 seconds.
Another quick thing that this place is famous for, and it's a special place in my heart, is the safety dance. You can dance if you want
Oh,
to.
yeah.
You can leave your friends behind. It was amazing. So this was, I think it was Hygen the Unclean, I think was the boss that did it.
Yes, it was,
And-
and there was a little GIF.
Yes, and the best
Yep.
thing about this is in the Plague Quarter. So the way this thing would work is there would be this big giant room and this little platform. And in this room, there's little cracks in the ground. And the way it would work is you'd be fighting him, and this would be like phase 1, you just kind of burn him down. And then phase 2, he teleports to that little platform. And then lava, or actually it's not lava, it's like a slime, would shoot up out of the ground in certain spots. And it was like a dance where you literally had to move your raid team, had to go to one spot and stop, and then like you're like doing a little salsa, and then move to the other, and then move to the
Do a
other, and
salsa.
wait. So you had to stop, slime would shoot up out of the ground, then you had to move and stop, slime would shoot up, and then move and stop. And you had to do this little dance across the room to survive, because if you timed it wrong and you got hit by that slime, it was like a one shot. Like you were dead. It was pretty much, that's how it went.
Pretty much.
There were special, yeah, I have very pleasant memories of that actually, because my very first time in Nax, the guy who was bringing me through Nax on the group was like, oh, don't worry, you're just gonna die on this site, just like standing in the corner. And then the lead healer was like, no, she should just follow me, you know, we'll see if it works out. And then the person who was leading the raid dies on the very first safety dance, and he was the other tank. He was the other tank, and so I was like, oh, hey, here this, you know, I pulled up like the little image. There's an image of where all the safety spots are, and I pulled up the image, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of see where these are. And then I tanked the boss to the end, and he died, and that was one of my moments where I was like, oh, okay, I guess I really want to do this raiding thing. That was fun.
Ryan?
Speaking of dying, we just had fun. One of our feral druids accidentally click a lock portal and aggro some mobs, so he used a sacrificial dagger to kill himself so that he didn't pre-clear the very front of the one of the first wings. So.
Yes,
Oh, goodness.
that's commitment. Talk about like
yes, the commitment. I mean, come on, like way to go, buddy.
he was like
He
MacGyver.
Didn't kill the mob, so good for him. Good for him.
Well done. Didn't
We are
fall.
good, Bay. We are good.
Here's a small point of contention. Has your raid killed Mr. Bigglesworth? Because I'm sitting here petting him right now.
Let me ask. I have no idea. Hold on. Smooshy
Yeah, what
says
is-
yes.
Oh, you guys are such a horde.
What's
so
even?
mean.
That's horrible.
What does that cat even do? I don't even remember.
It's Kel'Thuzad's cat.
Kill it!
He's sitting right here next to me. He's so
Kill
cute.
it with fire!
No,
He's
alive.
adorbs. He's adorbs.
All right.
He's not very attractive cat.
He's just a white and black tabby. What? Oh, he has white whiskers.
Oh.
Okay, ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I'm so excited to see Nax.
Yeah,
so
this
excited to see
This
Nax.
is anyone's race, honestly.
Love this.
Kel'Thuzad gets sad if you kill him.
Yeah, Kel'Thuzad yells if you.
Yeah,
kill his cat.
Kel'Thuzad gets really mad if you kill his cat.
Oh!
What?
What happened?
One of
What
the
was
hunters
that?
just came over here and shot Mr. Bigglesworth.
Oh,
And he says,
Yeah.
a curse upon you, interlopers. The army of the Lich King will
A
hunt
curse
you down.
upon you.
You will not escape your fate. All right.
Oh,
You ready,
there
buddy?
it is.
Yep. Again, we are starting in front of each wing. If you're splitting, that's
yes,
fine.
sir. We're good.
Okay. All right. In 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's on like Donkey Kong.
And they're off. So I'm trying to figure out which wing all of them are going into. Definitely Bay is in the Plague wing.
Yes, it looks
So
like
that
Brutal
should
might
be
be in
exciting.
military, I think,
I
for
think
Brutal. Is that right?
military?
Yes. Yes, I'm in
Yeah,
military.
he's in military. Oh, good. I love the Plague Wing. I think the Plague Wing is just visually, it's funny. And this is also another one of those things where you were saying, Koltrane, that Nax has stuff in it that people name in later raids. This is the first instance of Frogger. That's what I'm looking. That's the word I'm looking
Yes.
for.
Yeah,
This is
right
Frogger that we're seeing here. The Bay is running through right now. We saw Frogger again in Ulduar, and we saw Frogger again. Was it in Terrace of Endless Spring?
All the boss spam's gonna keep happening.
Right.
Yeah, I
Now,
know.
that Frogger mechanic, those slimes that Bay just ran by, you guaranteed someone would always die to those slimes. If you hit those
Oh,
slimes, it was a
100%
one-shot. So what would happen is you'd actually like teleport your raiders. Like one guy would make it, they'd have to summon someone through or res them through. It was crazy. I think Bay's gonna be heading into Noth here.
This is
See
Grobulus.
if he has
Grobulus,
Grobulus.
that's right.
Skeleton Kite Man. No, not Skeleton Kite Man. This is Poop. This is circle him around the room on the
Shooter Man.
grate and poop stuff guy.
That's
This
right.
is one of the more fun bosses. Like right when I was first learning MMOs in general, this is another one of the very first bosses I tanked was Grobulus, and you would circle him around the room on the grate, and that was fun. That was like my baby's first tank positioning fight.
Yes,
it was
that's
fun.
right.
Fun
And you'd
times.
spread the slime behind him, and you'd have this big row of slime. It was great. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fond memories, actually, of Nax. I really had a good time in here.
Yeah, I admit the fact that almost nobody I talk to is like, oh man, Wrath Nax is my favorite raid ever. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have, cool stuff in it that people enjoyed.
Right. Now we're seeing on Brutal stream here, this was a fight too where you would actually split your raid into 2 separate groups. In the original mechanics, you'd see that little gate in between them. Each raid would handle different mechanics, pretty similar. Basically just kill everything and make sure you focus things down. And then for phase 2, the gate would open, the raid could resume together, and then engage the boss.
Sorry, repouring my coffee here.
No problem. Let's see
Coffee,
where
milk, and sugar.
Bay is.
He is checking. No, we see Brutal checking the availability of all of the bosses. I guess that's good, so you can see who's dead and who's not.
Oh boy!
We
Now
have-
here's a big one. Is this Thaddeus here?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness
we
gracious!
are going to Thaddeus. People who could not tell their left from their right were the
And-
bane of your raid on this.
That's right. And we got the jump. Let's see who can make the jump.
Oh, the jump! I remember
This
that.
could slow them
Cannot claim
down.
to
All right, Bay
always
makes
hit.
the jump. That's good.
Cheating with Ghost Wolf there.
Spirit Walk. Hey, time efficient.
My raid team, actually, we were going for the Undying title, and this was one of our final bosses.
no.
And I missed the jump. And I was in the slime going, and my health was ticking down, and I jumped out and made it at the last possible second. I almost ruined it for the entire raid team, but we were able to do it and still get the Undying. But I missed the jump. I couldn't believe it. Everybody was freaked out. But we got it. I have the title. I got the title.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I got it as well, but I got it at the end of Wrath. I didn't get it after Wrath, but it was at the end of Wrath. It was speedy.
Yeah, same
I
here.
remember that people would do the macro that had the pluses and the minuses like in the chat box so that you would know which side to go on, and people would still mess it up every single time. And I'm one of those people because I don't think I mess up those raid mechanics very much, but I have such a bad memory that I keep a stack of post-it notes right next to my PC, and I draw on the post-it note whenever there are things like that, like raid mechanics. I literally draw on the post-it note where I'm supposed to go, so
That's
that I can
awesome.
glance. Because when I get stressed out, I forget these things in the heat of the moment, and I can just move my eyes down to the post-it note and remember where it is I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mini Mootle 94 for the guild I was in, we had positive and negative written on my keyboard for which side we planned on having them. The way
See,
it
I'm not
worked
the
is,
only one. I'm not
right,
the only one.
you got a debuff, and you had a positive debuff or a negative debuff, and the positives had to be with the positives, negatives had to be with the negatives. If somebody who was a negative debuff went over to the positive side, boom! This huge like AOE
You
thing
would
would
kill
hit.
everyone around
Kill
you.
everyone. Right.
It
So
was,
it's a big
an
thing.
explosive raid wipe.
Right. We had always positives on the left, negatives on the right. You had to make sure everybody was on the right side. Then I think you had to switch sides at one point in the fight. It was crazy.
Yeah, because your debuff would change. He would randomize. All the debuffs would go away, and then he would randomly kick them out again. And so you would then have to go right back to the correct side.
Brutal, what's going on in your stream here? You're saying keep trying. This is how it works. What's going on?
Oh, don't worry about that. No, it's all good. Don't worry about that. It's all good. It's all good.
All right, you're feeling good. Everything's still going well.
Well, I mean, I chose the slow swing on purpose just because I knew that it would
Right.
put me put a little bit more in my video.
Gothic is
And,
the longest, yeah.
Yeah, it's so aggravating.
Because
So I'm
there's
just-
this is like you have
just
to
a timed
spawn all of
event,
these
yeah.
stupid little skeletons here, I see. And it
Correct.
looks like Bay probably waiting on his people who are doing the same thing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like on Bay's stream, is he being summoned here? Is he starting to?
Annalyn in
Oh,
Wonderland,
no, he's not. He's
we
okay,
would
all right.
wipe like crazy and later found out that people didn't know if positive is plus or minus. That was sad.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
That takes effort.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
That is very rough.
It's kind of funny, speaking earlier about the safety dance, a lot of people just couldn't get it. Some people just couldn't get it. So usually there'd be one guy that got it. So you'd usually put a raid marker above him and everyone would say, follow me! And I will
Yes.
lead us through the safety dance. That's
Oh
usually
yeah,
how
there
it
are
would go.
plenty of mechanics that went like that. I know the room in Heroic Lich King, there would always just be a mark on someone and you would follow them because they knew where to go. Oh my goodness. For every one of those things, we just mark our main tank and just follow him around.
Brutal just now defeating Gothic the Harvester. Moving on to the next boss, who I believe is the Four Horsemen. It's another pretty famous fight. This is somewhat more difficult, quite a bit involved in this
The
fight.
achievement spam.
Yeah, a lot of achievements going out. A lot of raiders haven't done this place before.
Hey, someone.
Well, because you get an
spawned
achievement if you
Horde derped.
What the heck?
Is
I
there
have no idea who would have done it. I just got summoned and he's up, man. I don't even know what to say.
Suppose there must be a penalty fat because it's not like we're gonna restart it. So
It's
Well,
like
no,
a big penalty. We just wanted to see it on both screens.
Right.
That's why.
I think Faye and I agreed it's not really fair to punish either one of us because we can't physically control these people. If someone decides
right,
to
and
ignore us because
nobody
they're being
obviously
a jerk.
pulled him. So
Right.
if they had like pulled him without you, then I
That's
think
different.
that
You
would
You
have
have
been
to
bad.
go
But
all the way down past the snow and touch the flat ground to spawn him, though. So someone
Right, it's
literally
ridiculous,
derped.
yeah.
somebody really did do it on
Yeah.
purpose. Yeah. Safety dance over vent. It's Sean Gaming says my guild actually had someone who would play safety dance over vent when we did that fight. That would probably throw me off because I have to like focus very hard whenever I'm doing that stuff. It's like I get super obsessive.
All right, now Brutal looks to be
Go, says
engaging
Brutal.
Brutal
Saffron. Engaging Saf, but the Alliance is ahead. They are through Saf.
Oh yeah, and they're waiting at the gate.
We're waiting at the gate while the RP goes along. Sorry, spoiler alert, Brutall.
Educate.
So we're talking
Kick it
about,
into gear.
talking about a penalty for Saffron. Only should just be added on how long it took the Alliance to spawn him. Should give him the Horde, because it's literally just the spawn timer.
Well, the
Yeah.
spawn timer would have been the same anyway, because I waited in his room for over a minute. In
Well,
his
no,
little
like,
alcove would.
we were standing next to him before you can attack him. He takes like 5 seconds to form. That should be the only thing, because you guys didn't have to do that. You just walked in and killed him.
No. I'm saying like I got summoned early to spawn him,
Oh.
so
okay.
that so that he would have been up whenever we finished anyway.
Okay, well, we'll see. That's fine.
All right, base seems to be on Kel'Thuzad right now.
I didn't spawn him until we actually engaged him with the final boss rule. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And now in this encounter, I remember that you would
The
get a
RP!
series of different trash mobs from all of the different sides. And are there not also kind of shadow trap-esque frost traps on the ground that spawn in this fight as well?
In phase 3,
I'm
there
trying
would
to
be.
remember.
They do
In the
your
final
HP
phase.
and damage, yes.
Yeah, in the final phase. In this first phase, your raid would pretty much stack up on that green circle right in the center, and then various ads would come out from the sides. You would just have to DPS down those ads before they would get to you, because then it would get out of hand, because these would be constant waves of ads that would keep coming. Or you can do what they're doing now and just run out and engage them,
Apparently,
which causes all them to spawn.
Chat room is telling me it was an Alliance spy in the Horde raid. His name is Banana Man.
Banana Man. That's a really good name.
How appropriate.
Oh, somebody leveled a tune all the way up and put it in Brutall's raid just to mock him for the banana thing. I wish that was actually the case.
Pretty amazing.
Now we get the RP and the trash spawns.
Oh my
and
god, this is
Slivner.
ridiculous. This is 5 minutes. Holy crap.
I know.
5 minutes to kill on this raid. So now, speaking of this shadowy trap, there was a mechanic in this where a member was targeted. Now, Bay, since you've got some time here, what would actually happen in phase 3 here with those traps?
So there were 3 things that Kel'Thuzad did most of the time. Is he would mind control people based on the threat table. So you have to have multiple tanks to make sure because your tanks get mind controlled back in the day. So you'd have to have multiple tanks to one be high on the threat table, and be low on the threat table to pick him up after the mind control goes out. There'd also be it was like an ice tomb, I think is what it's called, where it would hit a person and it would take 10% of their HP a second for 10 seconds. They need 1 heal to not die. And then they'd also have the red void zones that would look like they did like on what's his name? The Black Dragon guy in Cataclysm. Oh my god.
Deathwing?
Can't remember. No. The temple, the Wormrest Temple boss.
Wait, you said Cataclysm, so not in Sartharian.
Well, what is the
Oh,
mechanic you're talking
sorry,
about?
that's Wrath King. Yeah. So Sartharian,
Oh,
that's what I meant, yeah.
Sartharian, yeah.
And the
okay.
little red void zone, if it hits you, would do your HP and damage to yourself. So it was all about, like, basically you would global yourself on certain abilities. But those are the 2 death abilities, was the mind controls, the frost tombs, and the red void zones, which would just kill you if you didn't get 1 heal or stood in it. But back in the day...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, back in the day with this on 40-man, I actually, truth be honest, I've not killed this on 40-man vanilla. This is the last boss. My guild could not kill him on 40-man, but only like 0.1% of the world did anyway, so that's not a big deal.
You got close. That's
But
what matters.
in 40-man, he would mind control, I think, 8 people, which is ridiculous.
That's absurd. 8 people mind controlled?
Yeah, and you have to get controls
That's a
on all
full
of them.
20% of your raid.
Correct. And down goes Kel'Thuzad.
Woo!
Oh, we're like a minute behind.
Down
All
goes
right.
Kel'Thuzad.
Down goes Kel'Thuzad. Now, what happens if he controlled like 8 healers, or both tanks, or all the
It
tanks?
was all
Did you just-
random. Yeah. Oh,
You
is
just
it
got
Guardian of
screwed?
Might's Crown's like, hey, what's up, guys? Late to the party? How you guys doing? Yeah, how you guys doing? Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so it looks like Alliance is good to go.
This is what I was afraid of. This is
And
why I said it's
Brutal's
still
waiting.
anyone's race.
Why are the Guardians fighting us? They're still spawning. Ah!
This instance in Firelance is going to be a big determining factor. A big determining
All
factor.
Look at all this time wasted, Brutal. You're just sitting here.
Absolutely, it's true. It's true.
Precious seconds are ticking by. Oh, I can't wait to see the timer on this. All right, down goes Kel'Thuzad.
We're down.
Woo! I cannot wait to see the timers on this one, man. This is gonna be good. Alliance gonna be closing the gap.
Oh man.
Ooh, baby.
Now we're on to Grand Crusader.
All right, let's see here.
That was a little painful. That was a little painful. We lost like at least a minute, if not more.
Alliance timer is in. Waiting on Horde. I cannot wait to see this. Oh, I can't wait to see the gap. Oh! Now I'm not showing any bias. I just like I like a close race. So this is good.
Of course, of course, of course. Of course.
And I'm secretly rooting for Bay. But anyway, but besides
Oh,
Oh wow, not so secretly.
Make sure
Was that
anymore.
out loud?
A little bit
make
of
sure
bias.
you're on. Make sure you're on heroic now, Ryan.
Man.
Was
I
that out
believe we are.
loud?
Let me check.
that wasn't out loud.
We are.
was it?
Thank you.
All right. Ooh, okay. Numbers are posted. Gap's not as big as I thought. Interesting. All right. So, Anna, I'm looking Alliance 12 minutes, 27 seconds.
And Horde 13 minutes 8 seconds for a difference of 41 seconds. It really seemed like longer, but I guess they were only about
Did.
two-thirds of a minute apart.
Well, I mean, we can go back and look at the video. We'll see. We'll see.
Ooh.
Right, like so by the end of the race tonight, we can't announce the actual winner because we need to do some verifications, of course, via the VODs. So the final winners that come up for this will be announced on our social medias, of course.
Why don't you announce it tomorrow during Final Boss?
But there's no actual show tomorrow because of this today.
You fool.
Right. I'll be streaming tomorrow, and I imagine you might be too, Ryan. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll have obviously, if the Horde is ahead by something like a minute and a half, I'm pretty sure you've won.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. So now we're heading into Trial of the Crusader. Oh,
Grand
all right.
Crusader gets on.
Grand.
That's true, that's
Trial
true,
of
that's
the
true, that's true.
Crusaders.
Trial of the Grand Crusader.
Now, this to me, this place was very interesting because it was arena,
Yep.
but but a raid zone. So I thought this was amazing. It was basically the idea is let's take arena and let's make it a raid zone. So there's no trash. It's just like this cool place where it's just bosses that spawn. You know what I mean? And I think this was the first time where players actually said, "I miss trash.
Right.
I miss trash." The bane of any raid is trash, but now they missed it. Go on, Anna. What were you saying?
It's so difficult to say that kind of thing, though, just because, I mean, we could say that we miss trash, but, like, nobody enjoys doing trash. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I mean, trash is just that thing that it has to be
Worst
there
raid
between the
ever.
bosses to make the bosses mean something more. It's a filler. Trash is a filler.
It's a pacer, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pacer. It determines the pacing of an instance.
So real quick, I need to confirm deny. If we start the RP, does Icehell will just stand here at the gate so we can get the RP out of the way right now?
Yes, he just stands there, but you need to go all the way back. I'm pretty sure he just stands there.
We can just wait. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, we want to be consistent because of different clicking speeds and whatever. So so do the RP. No one engage Icehell. Icehell will be
Okay.
engaged upon the go.
Okay, stand by, stand by, stand by.
Now, Bay, you had mentioned worst raid ever. Why, in your opinion, was this the quote worst
Well, I'm
raid
looking at
ever?
chat. Is the worst raid ever? That kind of stuff. I think it's an interesting point of contention because some people enjoy like 5 bosses in a row. I think there's some interesting boss mechanics in this. The first boss, for example, is actually 3 bosses, right? They're all neat encounters. You got 3 bosses in a row, and you've got the champions of the Horde and the champions of the Alliance. Well, then you've got the twin Valkyr, right? And you also got Wilfred Fizzlebang, right? With Jiraxis, which is like a huge meme in and of itself. And then you've got a Nubercon. So, or sorry, a Nubarak. I misspoke. A Nubarak. I think there was
Spawning the boss.
There's fun. Oh, sorry, it's Gormok is the first guy. Yeah, he just stands there. Okay, good. He better not run at us. I hope not. No, I think he just. Stands
Yeah, the
don't
weapons.
think he will.
Oh,
were,
he
in
runs at
fact,
us. Oh
amazing.
god.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Wow. Is he
I
running
was
at you
wrong.
too?
Way to go, Bay. Way to go. Well, I just.
Well, so
talked to
I
the
think that if
NPC.
you were all the way in the back, could you guys
We were
like
in the
zone
no.
out or
He
something?
runs at us. He ran at us. Well, we're just
Okay.
standing here waiting, so he's just hitting me in the face for no reason.
All right, just make sure nobody in your raid kills him off. I think yours is at what, 97%, so you're good.
Should everyone run out or something? How are we gonna do this?
Can't
Somebody
run out.
died. He's going
we're
down.
engaging.
Well, don't engage. We gotta do a countdown.
Oh, you just said he ran at you.
But we didn't
Well, I mean, he's
fight
not-
him.
Brutals isn't spawned yet, so you're good.
coming up
See, look, Brutals
soon.
is just standing there. He's just standing there. One of your guys pulled him, Bay, I
No,
promise.
after the timer stops, he ran at us. No one was near him.
Well, listen,
all
I
against the
have
wall.
an accurate timer. I had a 3, 2, 1, go. He spawned as soon as I said the word go, so I have an accurate timer for mine.
Bay, you may want
So you just need to find a way to get yours accurate too.
Is he really not fighting you, Ryan?
No, he didn't. I
he's
charged him.
dead.
I engaged him.
Oh, okay. Well,
This is why I said
we're
you
gonna
don't
start
talk
our
to the
timer
NPC
then.
for the
We'll start our
record.
timer. I don't have permission to do this.
All right. Don't worry, we'll get this sorted out.
I did a manual timer in chat. It's fine.
Okay, so base start timer starting right now.
Yeah, no one was near him. We were all against the back wall. So I don't know how that's a thing. We were literally all across the entire room, and he just ran. Gormok just ran at us. So I
Yeah,
don't
we're
know
just we're going full steam ahead. We have like
So
we
are we.
have
It's
the
fine.
active
It's fine. It's
timer.
fine. We started our timer in sync with ourselves, so it'll be fine. We're a little
Okay.
off pace evenly, but yeah, it's fine. I thought he wouldn't come at us. He ran right at my face. We're all against the back wall. Don't know.
This is why you don't start the RP, you noob.
Well, we were trying to save time.
And now you wasted it.
Oh, we're all good. You guys are fine.
So coming up, I think on we're gonna face Jiraxis. This is great. This is
You face Jiraxis,
right?
Lord of Terror.
Eredar Lord
I always
of
thought
the
this was a
Burning
very funny
Legion.
boss. I liked yeah.
Great voice work
I never
too.
got tired of seeing the opening to Jiraxis, not a single time.
Right.
Loved it.
I remember enjoying this fight for some reason. Don't remember why. Just remember enjoying the Jiraxis fight. Just a fun fight in general. And then coming up next, kind of an interesting fight. So on Brutal Stream, they're now facing Jiraxis.
Oh, okay, Todd.
And then after Jiraxis is the Faction Champions. Now, this was an interesting fight. So, Faction Champions are essentially a group, and they would spawn randomly each week. There was like a different group. But it was like a PvP fight.
Right.
Very similar again. This arena. It was a PvP fight, but it was a raid fight. So you would be facing druids, paladins, and they would have abilities. Druids would be throwing up hots. You know, paladins could bubble, I believe. But it was like a PvP fight, but in a PvE raid encounter. It's kind of very different. But Bay, what was it like for you? Like, what did you remember about doing this Champions thing?
I think the only thing that was a difficulty in this was that, I mean, for 25 man, the faction champs, I don't think were ever different. I think they were always the same every week. Pretty sure they were always the same every week. It was for
Gotcha.
10
Maybe
man,
in
they'd
10
be
man it was different.
Different combinations because they couldn't give you everything.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there was a specific kill order that you wanted to do depending on which ones you saw. Are you sure they were the same in 25 every week?
Pretty sure there's all, yeah, because you get every faction champion.
Oh, I guess you get all of the faction. Yeah, I guess that's correct. I have this vague memory. You know what it is? I think you had to farm 10 man, and this was the tier that you had to farm 10 and 25.
Little
So
barrage
I
for you.
recall. Yeah.
He's
Oh,
so bad.
yes.
The model looks so bad.
I know, it's the old model.
So on Bay's stream, we're seeing Garrosh. Is he up in the stands?
Yeah,
He's up in the stands.
Like,
Indeed, he is.
Wow, future war chief. There he is. Not happy. Thrall's telling him to calm down.
Calm down, bro.
Brutal, do you remember old Faction Champions? Did you like that
I
fight?
do. You know, I actually met my wife before we were married, obviously, during Wrath of the Lich King. So I actually took a break from raiding to start dating her, and Static took a hiatus. So I didn't do TOGC as a progression raider. Then I came back for ICC.
Break to date your wife. I love it. That's wonderful.
I mean, hey, it worked. We're married.
Well done, sir.
And then you were like, sorry, honey, I've got
Yeah, I
raid.
mean,
got raids now.
A few months later, you know, I can't remember how many months, honestly, but around the time ICC was coming out, I'm like, sweetie, I want to raid again. And she's like, okay, whatever. And everything was fine, so. No big deal. No big deal.
Did she say to you, I immediately regret this decision?
No. She's been incredibly supportive and understanding of my addictive nature and hobby here for many, many years now. And she's a sport. I love her to death.
So apparently I haven't actually done this encounter since it was content. It says faction champions down after 11 seconds. This is a new record. Old record. 2 minutes, 48 seconds.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's a big change.
A little bit of a change.
That is fantastic.
All right, looks like on Brutal stream here, they're going after the Valkyries. This was kind of interesting. There was a white and kind of dark type thing. A lot of cool visual stuff. You got orbs coming at you. You got a whole bunch of stuff. What's interesting about this fight kind of raised into question add-ons. This fight was actually pretty complex, and there was actually quite a bit going on, unless you had deadly boss mods. Basically, DBM or bigwigs or anything like that pretty much took out the challenge of this fight completely. And I remember it caused...
so did the door strat, let's be honest here.
Well, that's true, but it did cause raise a level of controversy. Are DBM add-ons too good? Is it making these fights very trivial? Bay, do you agree with that?
There were certain encounters, I think, that I remember in the realm of AVR that would draw the projected textures on your screen. That would make the game a little too easy. So I've always sort of been a weird proponent for arguing for and against add-ons like those that are playing the game for you. There are certain ones that do give you too much information, but most add-ons, I think, just give you the information already in the game in a different format. You, as a player, still has to process it and use it properly to do things in the game. So there's a back and forth on that, I think.
I just remember, gosh, with this one, I mean, it was a pretty complex fight. But basically, you had DBM just follow what it tells you to do, and boom, dead. No big deal. So there's a bit of a controversy there, and particularly on that fight. Brutal stream, we can see. I love this part. The floor breaks through.
Yeah.
Engage the final boss. Love this.
And you fall to the bottom. Yep. Yeah, the thing with the Valkyries was I don't remember any of that controversy because I guess all I remember about that fight is that at that point, by the time I saw it, the door strat was a thing that worked, and people just did the door strat, so there wasn't really much of the fight. You just kind of stood there. I do, however, recall a noob being much more enjoyable because that was the fight that you needed a block set for.
Anubarak. He is now in Here's the Storm.
Yes, he is. Right. Now, for this fight, this was kind of interesting. You had to have your raiders at, I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, at low health, and they had to stay at low health.
Them block tanks, man.
New
block tanks. Yeah, that was a fight that you needed because I think the design of the fight was they intended for you to use 2 tanks on those ads, but a lot of people just used 1 tank, and you would have a paladin would hit 102.5% block pretty easily with Holy Shield. And a warrior, it took a lot more effort. It was a very, very... I don't know if you could do it with a warrior, actually. There was a very specific gear set that would do it
yeah, you
for
had
both
a lot of
classes.
I think SBV, Shield Block Value, was still in the game at the time, I think. And I remember you had to go back, you had to farm knacks for specific pieces, you had to get specific pieces out of so many different zones and raids and dungeons or whatever.
Yeah, Holy Shield Holy Shield added a flat block chance, so it made it much more easy for paladins to block cap. But that was a fun. That was an enjoyable fight.
What was
Picking up
the purpose though? Why get that block? What did that do? How did that trivialize the counter?
He spawns 4 ads, and I think the intention was that you would have tanks take 2 and 2 because the ads buff each other's hit speed when they're close to each other. So, but when all 4 of them are together, they're just like pounding and pounding and pounding away like over and over. So if you were block capped, you would block every attack, and so the hits would be healable. But if you ever took an unblocked hit, or if you started taking unblocked hits, your tank would just die.
You're done.
Immediately. Done. And then the fight was done. So that encounter guilds used I think 1 less tank than was intended, and then you just used 1 tank who blocked every hit and just tanked all 4 of the ads all at once.
Wow.
So, and it was very difficult because they would go under, and then they would go under the ground, and then they would come back up, and you had to pick them back up, and then they actually had to be killed. So, because they would keep on spawning, and so you would kill them, and if your raid didn't kill them fast enough, then you'd get too many, and then you'd get like 6 or 8, and you'd die. Yeah, I remember that. It's a very difficult tank job.
All right, Bay, I will require a few minutes here to fine-tune everything.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. I gotta post everything too.
We're
and
here
get
at the
some swaps.
final
Final
race
zone,
here.
I know, it's
The
crazy.
final zone. Well, okay,
Stepping
we've got
into
the
the
times up here,
Ireland.
yeah. So we have the times posted now from Trial of the Grand Crusader. Although
They're not
these may
accurate.
take, yeah, these may take some. You know what? Let's just we may
don't
just
even
even
worry
hold
about
off on. We'll hold off on talking about those until after we have sorted out what's going to happen with the first poll there. But now here we are at the Fireland, an instance that I think people enjoyed. Nobody, I would say, I don't hear a lot of people say like it was their favorite raid instance ever. But I don't hear a whole lot of people say they hated Firelands either. It was an okay instance.
Firelands was a pretty good raid instance. Okay, and sometimes really good other times, but Ragnaros was really, in many ways, the pinnacle of heroic raiding.
He was,
and
really
still
good.
is in so many ways. He's such a wonderful fight as a heroic raider.
Like Fireland sort of has like back and forths because like spawning Shanix before it was nerfed twice was awful. Bethlak was, you know, a fun fight. Rylith was terrible. Elithrazor was a fun fight. Balrock, and then you kind of get to Major Domo Staghelm, and that was like a back and forth fight depending on what kind of strat your guild used. You know, more Scorpion versus more Kitty Cat. But then I agree with Ryan completely that once you got to Ragnaros, it was, yep, awesome.
Yeah, that was a good.
And
The problem though is that this is one of the instances that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with because every other fight in the zone just pales in memory to Rag. And I really like it when there are more fights in the zone that you remember, that you really
Correct.
enjoy, rather than just like every other fight in the zone being pretty meaningless when you compare it to the 450 pull last boss or whatever. So, like incline in difficulty.
Brutal, what made Rag so epic? What made it so the pinnacle of raiding?
Like it was so tightly tuned. It took I don't even remember how long it took. I think it was Paragon at the time to kill him. You know, the #1 guild at the time. I forget how many weeks it took them to kill him. It was just a really well designed fight. I would go into specifics, but I'm in management mode right now for my.
Sure, I
last
got you.
instance. I
And also,
apologize.
it was an 18-minute fight, something like that. It took a long time
Was
to get
he
through all
really
those
that long?
phases. Yeah, I remember. At least that's what I recall. Maybe
Yeah,
someone in
no,
the
I
chat
think
room
you're
or Bay,
right.
but it was around 18 minutes for that
A
fight.
long fight, yeah.
Yeah, and this was also one too where in the heroic side of things there was an extra phase, something we're now seeing with Garrosh Hellscream. There's that extra phase in Siege of Orgrimmar. Same thing here. In normal mode, he would always be in the lava, and you would just kill him, and he'd be halfway out of the lava, and then he'd just like and go back in the lava. But on heroic, he would step out of the lava. He had legs, and he would stomp around the raid trying to take you out. Bay, I don't know if you're still setting up as well, but like, what made this fight so heroic and so amazing for you?
I think I really like multi-phase fights. Like Illidan is one of my favorite fights of all time because you just felt like you were grinding against a multi-phase fight where there's nothing crazy in either phase. Obviously things can wipe you. Now it's different because I think Garrosh Hellscream is terrible. Like that's a really dumb fight. But like Illidan Storm Rage, the fight with Illidan is amazing. Ragnaros, amazing because I think there's enough going on in each of the phases where you feel you're compelled and you're challenged. But you're not fighting against this stupid re-healing boss over and over again. They just kind of does the same thing over and over and over again. That I think between the first 4 phases of Garrosh to phase 5, there's huge changes, but the first 4 phases are just like, oh, he's gonna spin. Oh, there's some ads. He's gonna spin again. Oh, he's spinning, and you know there's some mind controls. That's about it.
Right.
Whereas, like there are really different ports that happen in like Ragnaros Heroic or Illidan back in the day, even Kel'Thas we just did tonight. Like I like fights that have meaningful phases that actually change the dynamic of the fight, other than just like adding one ability, but still the same thing happening over and over again.
Right. It was kind of an interesting thing too with Rags. Again, very long fight. Even on normal, it was a very long fight. I think it was like 15 minutes or something like that, even on normal, minus heroic. And just like Garrosh, it all hits the fan in that final phase. But Ragnaros, man, those boulders or whatever come out, you know, and this is, again,
Meteors.
I'm speaking just on normal. Yeah, the meteors. So a lot of raid teams, including mine, we would be rocking and rolling. We get those first 3 phases done, no problem. And then we get to that final phase, here come the meteors, we all wipe. and then you do another pull, you have to wait close to 15 minutes before you can try and practice that final phase again. And it would just, oh man, it was very draining. And I know a lot of raiders, I believe, even in Siege of Orgrimmar, same thing with Garrosh. That final phase is when it all hits the fan, but you've got to wait. It takes forever to get to that final phase to practice.
And I have to believe that that's why a lot of people speak so highly of Lei Shen, because Lei Shen didn't have, I mean, every phase was different, but the difficulty ramp within the encounter was much smoother than an encounter like what you're describing, where it's like, oh, we're just going to wait through 15 minutes of boringness to get to the hard part. You know, you want the fight to be hard, and you want the end of the fight to be interesting too, but I feel like every phase should ramp up a little bit more smoothly.
Yeah, that's a good
but
point.
Phase 2 of this one on Heroic, I remember, wasn't that I think Phase 2 was the phase where you all had to stack up and then all had to run all at the same time. And I recall that our DBM author spent just days and weeks and hours and so long trying every which way, and every mod author was trying to do this, to predict what the spawn was of that. I guess the mechanic went up in the air and it all fell down, and you wanted to predict when they would fire so that we could all run and dodge. And I just remember that being just it was such a long period of time where we would figure out what the best way was to time our run, and so that nobody died.
Absolutely
that
right.
fight was just great. This fight was very fun. I liked it quite a bit.
Another big multi-phase fight they bring up in the chat room, Lich King. Great multi-phase fight. Lich King, some of the best, some of the favorite fights, you know what I mean, was Lich King. But again, like Lei Shen, like they're saying too, Todd Razak in the chat room, Lei Shen was very nicely tuned. I remember on Heroic Lei Shen, I remember watching some of the tweets from Rignaros and all that stuff, and him tweeting at Blizzard saying, please, 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 do not nerf Heroic Lei Shen. It's perfect. It is a huge challenge. Please do not nerf that encounter. But on Ragnaros, I remember that this was a huge jump up in difficulty in this particular raid in Firelands when it was progression.
Yeah, when it was progression.
Right.
So are
Huge
we
jump.
kicking this into gear
No, hold on.
soon?
One of the
Looks
fights.
like we are setting up. Yeah. Go
One of the
ahead.
fights I just could not stand in Firelands was Lord Rylith. The mechanic.
Oh
Oh
my god.
my gosh. The basic mechanic was he had these two giant legs and he would just walk forward at all times. And you had to, if you DPS'd his left leg, he would, oh, I'm going to turn. And then he would turn. Then you DPS the other leg and then he'd turn the other way. And you had to steer him across this little platform. On top of that, there were these random spawning like volcanoes that you had to make him stomp over throughout the fight. I could not stand
So
this
you had
fight.
to steer him onto the volcanoes.
Right, and I couldn't stand it because it was so RNG. 1 week, we would kill him no problem because the volcanoes would all spawn like right where he was walking and we'd get lucky. And then next week, the volcanoes would spawn on the opposite end of the little island. And we'd spend all this time and we'd wipe. And that's one fight, like I couldn't stand the RNG of it with Lord Rylith. What was your experience, Anna? Did you guys like Rylith? What was it like for you guys?
I actually met the designer who designed Lord Rylith in BlizzCon in 2012. And it was 2011? I don't remember. Whatever year it was, there was a BlizzCon that happened right after Firelands got released. So everyone was talking about Firelands at that time. And I was standing in line to get in someplace. And the person in line next to me was a Blizzard employee, and I was like, oh, he worked for Blizzard, but he didn't tell me that he was a raid designer. So I immediately launched into my complaint about Rylith because I drove that fight, and I was so frustrated at how difficult it was to be able to steer him, basically, and like be able to tell when one person out of 25 could be attacking the wrong leg. And all of us have had that experience where you're sitting there and you're an hour into the raid, and the raid leader's like, okay, let's go over who's on which leg one more time. And the one guy is like, oops. Like the one person who was on the wrong leg the whole time just pisses me off so much. And then like after we had gone through the line and I had ranted about Rylith for like half an hour, this guy was like, oh yeah, I actually designed that fight. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. Oh, that was one of the first people I met who worked at Blizzard.
Oh my
It was a long
gosh, that's
time ago.
awesome. Did he say
yeah,
anything
that's,
like, here was
he
the
was like,
idea?
Yeah, no, he that the way that the problem with that fight was not necessarily like the design. The problem with the fight was not like on paper the design of a fight that you had to steer. It was that it was very difficult to tell. You can't tell who's making the mistake. If you're making the mistake, you can't actually tell that you're making the mistake either. There's no feedback about how the steering is going, except for like which direction he's walking in. But there's no specific individual feedback in that fight that tells somebody whether they're doing the wrong thing or not. And mechanics work a whole lot better when, if somebody messes up, there's feedback about who messed up. And not just like this vague, oh, the whole raid isn't quite doing the right thing, maybe 1/25th of you is wrong. That was the problem with that fight and what made it so frustrating for people.
Right.
So.
No, you're absolutely right. Lord Rylith, another fight that was kind of frustrating was actually just getting the boss to spawn. And that would be Shannox. The way this fight worked was you had to actually clear a huge amount of trash before he would even spawn. So imagine, this is progression, this is whatever, and you just have to go and just clear trash, just waiting for the...
It would take... You would have to kill almost 70% of the entire instance's trash. It's nerfed now to be about 30%. It was nerfed twice, but it used to take about an hour.
Oh, just to spawn the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
You would just have to run around and just clear all this trash. And it didn't matter. It was awful because, trash is trash. And as we learned in Trial of the Grand Crusader, trash can be a good thing. But this was like forcing it down your throat. Like, oh, you like some trash? Here's more trash. And now more trash. Right. Just to get the boss to spawn. Oh, it was outrageous. But you're right. They did eventually nerf the amount of trash needed to get him to spawn. But it was still incredibly, incredibly frustrating.
I think we're good, buddy.
Oh, Titty's back?
Yep,
my
he's
crew is
back.
We're going to check real quick before we start.
Wow, this is it. This is the finals.
This is it, man. This is it.
Now,
This is where it's all decided.
If you joined us for rounds 1 and 2, obviously we haven't done every single raid encounter in the entire game. We're obviously not doing anything with Pandaria because we've all been doing it for the last 2 years, so it's Snorefest. We also didn't do certain encounters, say like, oh, got Alec here, because meh, right? Like, eh. So we've omitted some, but we think we've done every single one because we themed them. So, all right, we're all good. Ryan, you good?
I think so. Let me do another raid check. Ready check. Hold on.
I'm going to do a countdown from 10 on this one, Ryan. So,
10. That's fine.
Hashtag Teddy is back.
okay.
Ooh, the anticipation. This is it. This is it. This is the final round.
This is it.
This is going to decide it.
We're good. We're good.
The final race. The last Koltrane countdown.
Right. Much to the pleasing of everyone's ears.
All right, we're gonna do a pull from 10, by the way. This is the finale. All right. Ready, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
We're going to pull in 10.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's on like Donkey Kong. Here it is, Firelands! Final round!
Firelands, indeed. Here we go. Memories abound.
Here we go.
Well-
oh my goodness.
I will miss that countdown too, but the bonus is that countdown will be in DBM at some point, right, Koltrane? Are you not recording a count for DBM?
Yes, I am actually in DBM currently. One of the voices is Koltrane, and that is me for good old DPN. One of my biggest geek out moments of all time was being included in the add-on Deadly Boss mod. So big shout out to Mystical OS for that. That's incredible.
Yep, that's our tank. He wants lots more voices. I need another male voice on that thing because the male voice right now is my raid leader's voice, and so it always confuses us. Completely confuses us every time we hear it, so we all have to put on the female voice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so here we go. As the creatures of the Firelands fall, a huntsman's horn sounds in the distance. That is Shannox.
Finally, Shannox, indeed.
Right.
Now that is a lot of trash, not exactly how you pulled this back in the day.
Boy, just trash after trash after trash trying to spawn that guy. It was incredible.
Yeah, he was rather irritating.
A little bit.
All right, here we go. Looks like on Bay's stream, they are going after Beth Talak.
Oh, I see a frowny face.
Yeah, my team didn't stick
face
with me.
coming up.
We're getting rocked over here. This is not looking good.
Oh no! Oh, Brutall.
This is not looking
there may
good.
be a minor raid wipe as he is on his own.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
Oh
No, they didn't stick with me.
Brutall could be in trouble here. Horde could be in serious trouble. Oh my gosh. Let's hope that Brutall doesn't go down. He's popping his cooldowns.
Oh, lag.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Horde could be in serious trouble. Looks like Bay is engaging Beth Talak as we speak. Good old fight. Now, Beth Talak fight, this was another one where you had some of your raid group would go up on top of the web. Others would stay down. It's another pretty crazy fight at the time. Bay, was this fight a challenge in progression?
This fight was, I think, a reverse patchwork because it had a stiff DPS benchmark, so you would not die on it, but also had plenty of stuff that you had to worry about in the realm of controlling the ads so you didn't get stunned and get killed and your bot didn't die, because it was the ads on the bottom would stun people and you can't do anything about it when it killed them. So
Yeah, I remember going upstairs. I was the upstairs tank on this fight and having to pick the boss up, making sure that I was the first one to take the stupid line up and that no one else would click the line before I did. And then that I would pick the boss up and then our healer would get up there in time. So it was got pop cooldowns at the beginning. It was not that memorable of a fight, but it wasn't boring to tank. I thought it was fine. There are a lot of fights that are really boring to tank. At least if I have to push one more button, it's nice.
Interesting possible strat here by Brutall is that he might just handle the trash himself while his raiders take out the bosses. Could be a way to kind of save time here.
Yeah, indeed, I see. This is a little bit more interesting to watch than some of those older races because we are seeing things take more than one JCD to go down, which is nice.
Absolutely,
Oh,
there are some mechanics here.
He is a little irked at his raid again. Oh, I do see no one else with him. No, there are other people with him.
He's actually got one raider down. I'd be interested to see how Rylith is going to work. I mean, can they just burn him? I guess so, right? They don't need to do any mechanics here.
You pretty much just sit on one leg and he goes in a circle. That's the LFR. That was the LFR strat for Rylith. Was there LFR on Rylith? Yes, there was LFR on Rylith. Actually, I don't remember. I think that it was actually the Firelands was Cataclysm. It was actually the instance after this, chronologically, when LFR was introduced. So there wasn't LFR on Firelands. That was the normal mode. Like normal mode 10-man strat was just sit on one of the legs and spin him in a circle.
Looks like Brutall's engaging Elisrazor. Now, Brutall, oh, okay, good. They got him up. They had one raider down, but they seem to have rezzed him as they continue. And I think Bay here is moving his way up to Elisrazor. Is that correct, Bay?
Heading to Rylith, sir.
Oh, wow, all right. Did you already down Elisrazor? Did I miss that?
They are. You can see her being engaged in the distance right now. She's being followed.
Gotcha.
Fiery lava worms erupt from the ground. Those were fun. I actually like those little thingies that spin in a circle. You had to kind of dodge those if you were running around on the ground. That was quite amusing.
Boy, pretty chaotic, though. I gotta tell you, even watching it now, still a lot of stuff going on. Brutall telling his raiders to get to Lord Rylith.
And the fun thing about Elisrazor, since we're looking at this here on Brutall's screen, is that when you were tanking those mobs on the ground, they would get enraged when they get hungry, so they would get really big and they would start hitting you twice as hard. And you actually had to drag them over to those worms that are spinning in the circle, and they had to eat the worm because they were hungry, and so you would feed them the worm so that they would stop, and they would basically stop enraging. And so you had to get over to the worm without getting hit by all of the fire, and you have this like enormous mob, beating on you, doing twice as much damage. It was fun. I liked it. This was actually one of my favorite fights to tank. I claimed it.
trying to think how I can say this calmly, but Brutall is down. Brutall is down. I repeat, he is down.
Brutall is down.
Brutall
Oh my goodness.
is down.
Mini raid wipe. Look, all of his people are dead.
Oh my goodness gracious! This is what Brutall was talking about. This is the finale. A lot can happen, and Alliance could pick up and close that gap.
Now
Brutall is down.
I see the encounter is still going on. Now, does he have anyone alive here who's keeping the encounter going, or is he down?
Oh my gosh!
Are all of them down?
This could be insane. This could be insane.
This could be bad. And he can't release yet.
I'm dead. I'll talk freely. My team, for whatever random, crazy reason, didn't listen to instructions. They didn't listen. I don't know if people were confused.
So what happened? Did some of the team go left and you went right? What happened?
Oh my goodness.
Brutall clearly upset. Can't even get words out.
I can't even speak right
now.
And of course, I guess you can't release because other people in the zone are still in combat. I'll bet you can't release because you have other people. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Now, Brutall, are you still engaged in the Elisrazor fight? Is there someone up there still fighting Elisrazor?
I don't know what's going on with Elisrazor. She's just sitting at 29.8% health and she hasn't despawned.
I don't see anyone else on your screen here who's close to you.
Oh my gosh, this is an opportunity. Holy cow.
Yeah.
This is a big opportunity for the Alliance here. Holy cow. Bay staying calm and cool here. Bay, you got a shot here. This is crazy.
Yeah, we're going for Rylith now. We had to reform. We had a bit of a mini wipe on Alithazor as well. Even though I sent too many people there, but it still seems like people did not respect what I said either. By only sending up a certain amount of people, it looks like more people went up than stayed down. The mechanics on Elisazor have to be respected because
she still has mechanics.
Down phase can kill you.
I love this.
You
Isn't
got
that
a bunch
great?
of stuff on the ground, and
You gotta respect the mechanics. Firelands is no joke. You still gotta respect the mechanics. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Alliance be catching up here. They also had a mini wipe. Oh my gosh.
They are regrouped. Here they are on Rylith, the boss that we spent a while talking about. Guys, see that left leg targeted, sorry, the right foot targeted there?
Yep, there it is. This is what you do. You DPS that one leg, causes him to turn.
Oh good, he did release. Okay, so Brutall did get out of combat and he did manage to release. It looks like he had pretty much almost his entire raid wipe there. So that I suppose everyone could get out of combat. Let's hope that Elisrazor has reset correctly.
All right, Brutall kind of recovering here, but still looking strong, getting everybody back.
Yep, this race is still up in the air because there is several minutes of difference between these two guys. And it does look like Brutall has reformed and regrouped much more quickly than expected, actually. So this is still a battle that we're looking at here.
Oh, yeah,
Horde looking strong. Down goes Rylith for Bay. Moving on, Bay, where are you headed now?
To Balerock, sir, the gatekeeper of the Sulfuron Spire.
Balerock.
Balerock.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting fight. Some liked it, some didn't like it, some were a little indifferent. But I think we can all agree we all hated Rylith. We can all agree on that. And that's who Brutall is now pulling. So he looks to be engaging Rylith and engaging Elisrazor at the same time, trying to make up some time. But he did recover quickly, I gotta admit. The Horde looking strong on that recovery.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very fast regroup. Look, he's got the Elisrazor feathers on his screen.
Oh,
Yeah, the instance must count Elisrazor as engaged for everyone in the zone.
To some degree,
I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if that's the case because maybe it's because it's a three-dimensional fight. It also has to count people in the air, so they might have just made it count like pretty much everyone there. Yep, there he is, Rylith going around. Looks like they're beating on one leg here.
I can't cancel the cinematic because my mouse disappeared.
Oh wait, isn't there a fix for that? Like if you click on the screen or something? Or maybe if you hit spacebar? Oh yeah, if you click on the screen. Okay. Oh yeah, you alt-tabbed in and out. Okay, that fixed it too.
There you go. All right, so Bay forming that bridge. Holy cow, Alliance. Oh my gosh.
Though.
That bridge.
That bridge.
A
Okay,
bale
now
rock
do you
of Firelands.
Do you remember when you were if you had ever tried to get this achievement where nobody got hit by that shit? There's an achievement associated with this trash that Bay is doing right now, and I believe
Only
it's
the
that nobody gets
penitent.
hit. Only the penitent. Yes, correct. I think you have to never be moving while you get hit with the fire or
You have to
something.
kneel on the way up and click. 6 people have to click the orbs on the right and the left of the trash before the boss.
I see. So you have to be kneeling. I think you have to be kneeling every time the fire goes out. So you have to walk and then kneel and then walk and then kneel and then you click the orbs. That's the way it worked? Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
All right, looks
Yep,
like
and then
Alliance
always be
has
the
a
one person.
clear lead here.
Indeed.
Alliance engaging Major Domo right now as we speak. Oh my gosh.
Whereas
Alliance.
Brutall,
Woo!
we see him finishing off Alis Resort here.
Nah.
Looks like there are people dying, and Brutall down again.
Oh boy.
Oh no!
Oh no, the Horde! What's going on?
Horde.
Horde,
Oh,
no!
So,
no.
so my death just now was completely my fault. I stood in the meteor. But what's frustrating is I sent a specific group of people to kill Alice on their own. Because these people swore up and down that they can solo Alice, and solo means individually.
Yeah, right.
And yet,
Well,
they can't kill her.
the issue is if you send multiple people and they're not all flying, the ground
No, they're all flying,
effect-
buddy. There's 21 feathers. They're all flying.
They're all flying. Interesting.
They're all flying. That's correct. It makes no sense to stay on the ground. We all know that.
Correct. I've chosen a different strategy with that. I did a few flyers and ground people to take care of the ground as well, because they all get one shot anyway. That's fair. That's fair. Keep going though. Get in that ass.
Oh my! And Bay killing the pre-rag trash.
Here we go.
Down he goes to
Here we
the
go!
boss. This epic final pathway here leading up to Rag.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my heart is breaking for Brutall right now, though. Oh, this is just
Oh
so
my gosh.
harsh. Now I wonder. There is a 3-minute difference between our guys right now,
It's
between
not
our
enough.
teams. It's not enough.
No, I can. There's no way. There's no way that the Alliance couldn't win even with a 3-minute lead by the Horde. I wouldn't be surprised if they win by 3 minutes now.
Yeah, I see. So how many? Because you still have Alice and Staghelm and Rag left to
Oh no,
do,
Alice
right?
is dead. We still have to go do Bale Rock. We have to do Major, and then we have to do Rag himself.
Oh
so
my
3
gosh.
bosses.
Yeah, we
Could
are
Woo.
miles behind.
This is a come from behind from the Alliance
A
as they
come
are
from behind,
engaging
yeah.
Rag. Oh, this is exciting. This is crazy.
Oh, look out for the hammer.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay. Woo.
All right, now again,
Now
we
I
could have a
will-
wipe. We could have a wipe here by the Alliance.
No,
Yep, there.
there's no way.
You never
no
know.
way.
You
Hey,
never
let's
know.
keep-
There's no
let's
way.
keep
Firelands
the
is
energy
reversed.
up. It
Yeah.
could be possible.
Firelands has reversed it. Oh, the fire hit the thingy. Oh god.
Watch it, Alliance. Look at those health bars. Oh my God, look at the health. Oh my
There
God,
it is.
Give me
Alliance
them
could be
legs,
in
baby.
trouble. Oh,
Give me
there
them
it is.
legs.
Here
Let's
come the
see
legs.
those legs.
Here come them legs, baby.
Do
Get
it,
them.
Rags. Do it. Step out. Oh,
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
The feet.
Yes.
I don't know who else was
Leg
like
hype.
pounding their screenshot button when this happened for the
Oh.
very
Hands
first
down.
time.
Down goes Ragnaros, the
Oh,
Alliance.
down he goes.
Holy cow! Come from behind in a huge, huge way.
Huge victory. Great victory.
Wow, unbelievable. The Alliance starting way down, heading into this final raid. And down goes Rags. They might have beaten the gap. Who knows? We'll have to see. This is insane. I cannot
still
wait
behind.
to
Still
get
do
these
know they
numbers.
won.
I don't
Still
know. We'll
behind,
have to
man.
see.
Let us have a little bit of excitement.
Still
okay, Brutus?
behind. We'll see.
What's
Keep
amazing
fighting. Keep
is
fighting all the way to the end. Or
there
don't
was
give
a
up.
big
Crazy.
gap. There was a big gap between these two teams, and there still is. So we're waiting to see, because as I've got here, the grand total, now, we still got to get the final numbers, but I believe, and help me out here, Anna, the gap might have been around 17 minutes. Is that true between the two?
17 minutes.
That can't be right, right?
That might have
only
been
right.
around 2.5 days. Yeah, I know, it does look like... Well, okay, it's 17.
Yeah,
It
12
says 17
deaths.
minutes right now, because right now the Horde timer
have,
for
like,
this
50
zone is
deaths.
0.
Right.
We wiped like twice.
Oh my
Yeah, the
gosh,
death,
look at
the
this.
death count is not
Yeah, we
been
got-
not been entered yet.
It's like I said, man. It was anyone's race from the very beginning, and I knew Firelands would be the determining factor. I have no idea how groups 3 through 5, which I was a part of for the record, messed up that so royally. Like, I have no idea what happened. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video. Oh man,
Well,
I think what happened. I'm running through it in my head right now. I think what happened is they ran hold on. I think they ran to Alice without clearing any of the trash beforehand, and that started one-shotting people because the core hound, of course, eats people. And then if all
he does.
all the ads pick on that one person with the core hound, then it's a good game.
Yep. And then as soon as you start losing people one by one, then it goes downhill from there.
It's just done. It's over.
Wow.
Well, that was a hard-fought battle from all of you guys.
Bay, my gosh, incredible job, man. Alliance, you guys came from behind. You might have pulled this thing out. What's going on with you? Congrats. What are you
we're trying to
feeling
figure
right
out,
now?
We're rebuttaling over the Alith Resort stuff. Apparently we had issues with the list for a while. We had problems with it too. Is that flying wasn't working? Apparently if you would move forward, you'd fly up. So you wouldn't fly in the direct direction. So we're wondering if it was a targeting issue because she was engaged while we had 2 other bosses engaged too. I'm not sure. That's why we had like a semi-wipe. Because she died, fell to the ground, and then the AoE that was happening killed the flyers. So that's why all of them died at Allie. But Allie fell to the ground dead with them.
Well,
Which is great.
The Blizzard does design these bosses assuming that everybody is engaging the boss in the same place. You know, so it can bug out.
Yeah.
It can bug out some really weird stuff, especially with these more complex mechanics that we see in the later tiers, in the later expansions. Like I think you see that more and more as you get into like Wrath and Cataclysm, with these mechanics that basically don't work correctly unless everyone's actually engaging the boss, and that if you're off in the rest of the zone somewhere, some weird shit can happen.
Right.
Yep, and so we are fighting here the crash leading up to Rag.
How about that 3-minute lead? How's it looking?
How about that 3? Well, it has. You've been doing this because I know your mass res timer said 5 minutes when you flew into the zone, and your mass res timer is almost gone here.
Oh my goodness!
So.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This I gotta tell you, this could be
close
incredible.
now, man.
If Alliance,
no, I don't
man.
think it will be. No,
This
I think
could
no.
be a come from behind victory from the Alliance, from Bay. It's been a heck of a story. It's been a Cinderella story, you could even say.
Yes, it has.
That the first round
Yes, it had.
dominated by the Horde, second round dominated by the Alliance. Heading into the third round, Alliance was behind. Alliance was down. They needed to make up some time. 5.5 minutes. And it's looking like Alliance might have pulled it out in this final round, in the final raid. Talk about bottom of the ninth. 2 outs.
I know, it's a really good thing. Also, it's been so exciting the whole time because they've been so close. You know, there wasn't a really huge lead on either side, so it was anyone's race coming into the end of this. And we can see, I'm also really glad they did Firelands last because I think there were the most wipe potentials were in Firelands.
Which we saw, unfortunately,
very much so.
And which happened. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. I cannot wait to get final numbers here. We've got one here for the Alliance, still waiting on the Horde.
He is summoning his very last few people here. Looks like he's missing 2, so we need one more summon.
I'll wait for the 25th to get here, even though we could pull. It doesn't matter anymore.
Sure.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Horde now engaging Ragnaros. Oh my goodness gracious! Here we go.
I'm getting tells from people from Group 5. Yeah, apparently the issue was no one bothered to clear the trash leading to Alice. That's why I jumped off my horse and started tanking things, because, you know, you kind of want to kill it before it kills you. And that led to Group 5's death. And that led to
Fire
Alice
blast
wiping.
from all the ads on the bottom.
Yeah, and then that led to us, the raid wiping, because now we're locked in combat.
Yeah, I think there were issues. That's why you gotta the last couple of these runs, even if it's still an expansion behind, these raids.
You gotta be careful, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, the Firelands trash an issue. I actually told people to group and kill the trash. Like, we were doing that on the way up to Beth's lab. We would pull a whole bunch and then group and kill it, and pull a whole bunch of group and kill it before we even engaged her. So I didn't want any of that crappy salamander garbage attacking us during the encounter.
Right.
All right, here come the feet of Rags, I think.
Feet round
He's
2.
not even gonna get him out. He's not even gonna get him out.
Is he gonna get him out? Oh, there it is!
There he goes.
Well,
Up
you
and
know,
down.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna concede. Clearly, the Alliance.
Aw, what?
Clearly, the Alliance.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we gotta get the
race.
timers here.
No, I really don't think it
He
needs to be
doesn't want to
argued.
know.
I don't
He
even want to
doesn't
know how
wanna
bad
know.
it wound up being.
Oh, Muffin.
And you know what? You know what? It's What?
On our scoreboard in the deaths category, I'm watching the change as OpenRaid's doing all the scoring. Love you,
Right.
OpenRaid. And whoever is doing the scoring on this, probably Zillion, says under deaths for Horde in the Fireland section, she just wrote a lot.
A lot. Well, we had
Okay, I want-
17, I think.
Yeah.
I want to go on record.
The Alliance has 13 deaths on file for Firelands.
I need to go on record. I don't want to place blame on anybody, whether it's Group
Right.
5, the raid. If anyone has to take the blame, it has to be me, because clearly, I refuse to believe that, 5 to 10 people ignored my instructions. It had to have been me just explaining things poorly or improperly. And the Alliance won this fair and square. They did a great job. We kicked some serious butt day one, and we kicked some pretty good butt throughout the day today. Today was a good race, but they tore us a new one in Firelands, man. We dropped the ball, and that's just the way it is.
All right, it's time to get some final times here.
Okay.
You ready
Some
for some
final
final times?
times.
Now, this is not the final time. This is just the time for
Not final
Firelands.
finals.
Just the
All right,
last time, yeah.
Here's the Firelands time. For the Alliance, 14 minutes and 14 seconds.
Okay.
And
Anna?
for the Horde, 20 minutes and 16 seconds. For a total difference of 6 minutes and 2 seconds.
Thus,
That's what 2 whites
no.
would do to you. 6 minutes.
losing by about that 3-minute lead we've had the entire time.
Yeah, losing by.
There it is. There it is.
Knowing that there's a bit of estimation in one of the previous ones here,
Right.
the trial, I guess, it's still a 2-minute 40-second difference. So I think we can probably decisively hand this to the Alliance.
I have to agree.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Alliance!
I have
Well
to agree.
done.
I have to agree.
The
Well,
Alliance.
I just, it's a great attitude that you've had all throughout this, though, both of you guys, Brutall and Bay, and you've had in some ways, a very different attitude towards what you're doing with the race, and they've both been very enjoyable to watch, so y'all have both made it, I think.
I'm glad.
Y'all have both made it just really exciting for those of us who are following along and cheering you both on, as much as I joked about taking a side. So thank you so much for y'all having just a great attitude, and I'm sure that y'all's races really enjoyed doing that with you.
I think just as much
Yay.
thanks need to go out to, Colt and Anna, the stinking but best and most amazing commentators we could have possibly gotten for this event. And of course, Bay and the Alliance being incredible opponents in the Retro Raid race, and clearly showing off at the very, very end that the Alliance knew what they were doing the whole time.
Aw,
Indeed.
Muffin.
Bay, congratulations on a victory here by 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I mean, congratulations. What are you going to do with the money?
Oh, wait.
With all this
The
huge
money?
prize money?
Actually,
There
kind
was
of
a monetary prize
Huge
involved in
the
this.
prize
monetary
money.
prizes that I still technically owe Ryan tacos from our
That's
previous
true.
match that I did lose to him.
That's true. That's true. That's what we could call it even now if you want to.
Well, I think anything else, if we're going to keep doing series, I think I didn't mean to tell this beforehand, but I think the penultimate of the 3 bouts of the Epic WoW Battles of History will conclude in the LFR version of Molten Core that comes out for the anniversary event.
Oh man.
Yes,
Oh,
regroup. We'll have to regroup for the race. We'll do this again.
And now that would
That's
be a
fantastic.
boss to boss to boss to boss to boss linear race, not this weirdness we've done like this. But I think that would be, if that's going to be around 3 of the overall EWB, that would be what it is. I think that would be what it is.
I'm down, and I'm sure my team's with me too, man.
Now,
I'm down.
Sarcastard in the chat room says, okay,
Nope.
Brutal, you lost. Time to shave the beard.
He's not
Nope.
going to shave
Oh,
the beard.
no.
Will you
I
shave
disagree.
the beard?
I
How
disagree
about
with
this?
that. There's plenty of things he can do for losing that aren't that.
How about this? I'll shave my beard if Bay shaves his beard and his hair.
I'm not going to do that.
Whoa.
Just kidding. I'm not shaving the beard.
It's not going to happen.
I'm telling you, I don't
Not-
know.
not
So,
gonna
I mean,
happen.
the question was, who is better, Horde or Alliance?
I think that it's fair to say that Bay and his team I think they were a little bit more prepared than the Horde. Not in the sense of, well, they studied harder or anything like that, but they were very specific with their movements, their directions, and so on and so forth. We obviously came out on top on multiple fights, but at the end of the day, they won, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, well, there really is there's not a whole lot of winning in this. There's no prizes. It's just going to be a lot of fun community events to do.
Yeah.
Well, the first one had winning because I had to kind of monetarily incentivize you to do Proving Grounds. But if the Horde and Brutall won Proving Grounds and the Alliance and myself have won the Retro Raid race, we will then have to see the anniversary event Molten Core Raid, where it all began, 40v40, when that comes out for the anniversary for World of Warcraft. We'll have to schedule that, and that will be the third installment of this.
Let me go back to it. The question was, who was better, Horde or Alliance? That was the question, and it appears
clearly
the Alliance is clearly better.
Clearly better.
Hold on.
Clearly,
the Horde is clearly a better faction. Which won. I mean, Horde's the better faction, but the Alliance did win. So,
they did win. The Alliance pulled it out, but it was really a fantastic race to see the Alliance down, the Horde up, first round out of the gate. And Anna and I, we were like, we think Bay has got this. We think Bay, he's going to be planning, he's going to be strategic and all this stuff. And then round one, Brutall just dominated this whole thing. Just got stomped all over Bay. Like the Horde was like, hello, Alliance, dead. And it was like amazing. And we were blown away. We're like, oh my gosh, Brutall. He's just destroying Bay. There's nothing left. And then we head into round two. And Bay came back, and he came back strong, and he dominated this round two. And that's what I love about stepping into this finale, was that both teams were neck and neck. They were head to head, and Brutall had a lead by minutes. He had a pretty serious gap.
Threw it away,
and he threw it away.
Aww.
In the Firelands. But that's what was great, and that's what made this race so entertaining. It was a come-from-behind victory for the Alliance, and clearly proved that Alliance is clearly better. So I think we've answered that question, and there's nothing else that be contested. But no, this has been a ton of fun for myself and for Anna. It really has.
I just think that both of them had such a great attitude, and I want to thank everyone also who came out to chat and watch and support us all, especially when we had sort of the technical difficulties last time that were totally out of everyone's control, and the people who came back this time to watch us finish off the race and crown a victor. Thank you all so much. You've been a wonderful audience, and I hope to see you all on Brutall stream, on Bay stream, and watching Final Boss, and watching CTR with Koltrane. So come back and hang out with all of us again.
And big shout out to OpenRaid.org for helping put this whole thing together. None of this would be possible without them. So huge shout out to OpenRaid.org as well. Make sure you guys check them out. Incredible website. Getting all your groups together, getting everything you could want is at OpenRaid.org. So definitely check those guys out. And you can follow Bay at twitch.tv/FinalBossTV. And you can follow Brutall at twitch.tv/BrutallStatic, BRUTALL. And you guys also have your YouTubes going right?
Yeah, we do a little YouTube every once in a while.
Yep.
And
all of our respective socials are right underneath all of our streams, of course. I think Ryan's is still Brutall Static. Final Boss YouTube is Final Boss WoW.
Yeah, unbelievable. How weird.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to our awesome commentators. Again, thank you, OpenRaid. Thank you, chat room. I'm going to bounce the intro one more time to close out this segment. All right, here we go. Oh, wait. All right, here it goes. I think. Yes.
The Horde versus the Alliance.